Always a great way to start the show, right? This thing on.
Well, it takes people a little bit to come in, so.
Yeah, that's true. People are not going to be showing these intros 30 years from now like they were like NBA and NBC finals intros.
Ah, the great Bob Costas.
Yeah. And
But
now I'll turn my microphone on and we can really get started.
well, this is so. Welcome on everybody to Celtics Clippers. This is a game that we had circled really the entire year. We went through this at the beginning of the season. We had to reevaluate a couple times, and we didn't know the additional significance of this game because this is the first combined appearance of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
Yeah, I can't wait. Paul George has been awesome in his first couple of games, and he was scoring like 72 points per 36 minutes or something like that, and then had the game-winning points against Oklahoma City, his former team, earlier in the week. They're starting with a pretty big lineup here. Going to go with Zubac at center, Mo Harkless, so two non-shooters, and then Beverly at point, George and Leonard. This is something that I talked about with Jovan Buha when he came on to preview the Clippers, was they don't want to start, at least at this point in time, one of those guys at the four. Just not a battle that they want to fight right now. Probably also worth noting that Landry Shamet is out. You would think he would be a part of that group. So they may be a little bit limited for shooting early on. For Boston, of course, Gordon Hayward is out, but they still have a surfeit of wings to match up with this Clippers group.
Yeah, and how Brad Stevens divvies out the initial defensive assignments is going to be interesting. How Doc Rivers does that is going to be interesting too. You know, this is the first time we get to see how George and Kawhi want to handle this. Who's going to face the biggest threats on the opposing team? And Boston, you know, it's not the same team as you said without Gordon Hayward, but there's some choices to make here. I'm excited.
Also, want to remind you, actually, it's not a reminder because this is the first time we're talking about it. Bookies.com, we have a sponsor. They're actually going to be sponsoring us for the entire season. Looking forward to telling you more about them as we get started here as well. But thanks so much to them for helping to support this little endeavor that we have.
It's great.
You can also check out their site. They're going to be looking at some of our Dunked On content, some of our cast content from a gambling perspective. We are not experts in that, but fortunately they are. And so I know that a lot of people who gamble listen to both the cast and our shows, so they can help you take the information that we have and put it into a gambling perspective. What else we got on this game before we get started here, if it's ever going to start, presumably? 7 o'clock seemed optimistic, but we're getting close here now.
I want to see, especially with the Clippers going with this big lineup, how Kemba Walker fares. I mean, it's been an interesting going. I think he's been an important part of Boston's offensive success, not a huge part of their defensive success, which we talked about on the 15 and 60. But how do the Clippers defend him? Can he find spots? And then going against the bigger lineup, what seams does he create that the other players on the Celtics can try to take advantage of? Bench play for both these teams is going to be notable. Now that we actually get to see the Clippers at closer to full strength, we also get to see their bench closer to what they envision, at least for now. So I'm excited to see how that looks too.
Yeah, another thing we talked about over the weekend is Boston, highest increase this season so far in shots in the restricted area, highest increase so far in free throw attempt rate.
Yeah.
So are they going to be able to attack the basket, particularly with Zubac starting? He has been doing a nice job so far this season taking up space around the rim. For Boston, Daniel Tice has been starting for them. Interested to see how their center position breaks out. Are we going to see more of Enes Kanter than we have so far? He played only 5 minutes in their game the other night against Phoenix. And you see the starters there. Daniel Tice in the starting lineup has played much better this year, a year removed from his knee surgery. We'll see whether he's going to try and stretch out Zubac a little bit. And then the switching defensively, is there going to be a matchup that the Clippers like going against this perimeter? I would expect Kemba Walker to be targeted in some small pick and rolls, especially if it's close late. So Zubac wins the tip, and we'll start it off with Beverly. Zubac getting position right up top, back to Beverly. Not a ton of alacrity to this Clippers movement. Now they're going to bring Leonard out of the corner. No real advantage gained in that screening action. They try to get George. He's tailed by Brown. Tice stepping up. Zubac has to make a play late. Finds Leonard for three. Yes! Kawhi Leonard has not necessarily had the touch on his spot-up so far this year, but he hits his first shot coming back from that knee contusion that kept him out a week or so.
And interesting that Smart reacted over to Zubac when he was guarding Kawhi there.
Harkless has the matchup on Walker. They swing it to Braun. His quick three-pointer from the left is off. Now Beverly looking to push it. He's got Harkless ahead of the field. Harkless against Walker. If Walker is guarding Harkless, look for those quick post-ups from Harkless. Another three from Leonard is off. Excellent box out by Tice. Walker looking to attack and pick and roll. Leonard stepping out. And Walker missing Jaylen Brown there as they switched it late. Now Walker attacking Zubac. Stripped by Beverly. Good help off of Tatum. Here's Smart with the pump fake. Swings it out. Braun, he'll take his second three-pointer of the game and his second miss of the game.
A nice rebound by Kawhi, pushing it a little bit. Not quite alacrity, but good job there.
Hey, stop stealing my vocabulary words. There you see Boston switching behind the play to get Tice back onto Zubac. That's something that they do so seamlessly, maybe the best in the league at that now that the Warriors are dead. There's a pass from George, intercepted by Tatum, and you saw Tatum come off of Harkless and then get back to him. Here's Braun underneath. He goes into three guys, passing it out. Tice, nice movement to Walker, right wing three. Boston 3 threes, has missed all of them so far. So you see this pick and roll coverage by Boston. They're trying to get up against Leonard and George as George hits his three-pointer over Marcus Smart. Smart had come to the nail to take away the pass to Zubac, and excellent pass from Leonard to find the open man. But you'll see Boston putting two on the ball in pick and roll, trying to force them to throw it to Zubac. Here's Smart, his three, and that's off too. Right back to him. He'll take another. And he missed that too. He flopped for the foul, didn't get it. Boston 0 of 5 from three. George looking to pull up on Tice. That's off. Rebound Zubac. He's got the huge size advantage there, and Tatum just collars him.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Zubac realizing that with Tice all the way out trying to contest that Paul George shot, there wasn't really anybody there to get the rebound, gets it, and now is going to go to the line for two free throws.
Yeah, this looks like Paul George trying to warm up his shoulders a little bit. He had surgery on both shoulders, had to space it out a couple of months apart so he could actually use one of his shoulders in his life. And so he started the season about 3 weeks late. Leonard off the screen gets one from Zubac. That's short. A lot of three-pointers here early. Braun looking to push it. Tice screens away for Tatum. Didn't make contact on the screen. Now Tatum looking to attack in the mid-range. Zubac, nice job stepping up. Recovery from Harkless, and Tatum misses. All jumpers so far for both teams, but Boston in particular getting little penetration. George has Beverly. Good closeout by Walker. Now it's Leonard in the post on Smart. We'll see. Smart has done a great job guarding bigger players so far this year. Leonard fading away, right side, not there. Beverly tried to get the Chicago point guard offensive rebound, but it wasn't there.
And the Clippers still, with two guys on the glass, get back for defense here, but still Kemba Walker.
Yeah, and that's where Walker maybe can have an effect as the Celtics get their first penetration of the game, especially in transition. Zubac getting too far out on the floor that time, and Walker able to get past him. Here's Leonard going into Tice, Euro step, and strip from behind. Nice play by Smart to get back into it. See what Doc Rivers has cooked up for a baseline out of bounds. It's George driving on Braun, baseline. Nice pass under to Zubac, and he's hammered.
Amazingly, so far in this game, there have been 10 attempted three-pointers and 4 attempted two-pointers. The shot here doesn't count.
Yeah, and that may be an overhelp from Tice because George had his man beaten, but he was stuck along the baseline and was able to thread the pass to Zubac. Good catch by him as the pass was a little low. Zoo missing the first free throw. You recall, of course, Danny, how he came to be a Los Angeles Clipper?
I missed the lead-in.
Zubac. How did
oh, God,
the
worst trade of last year where basically the Lakers gave him up to clear a roster spot for Mike Muscala.
Well, and Muscala was on the Clippers at the time. Yeah. He was part of that trade for Tobias Harris, and then the Lakers called up and said, "Hey, you want to do Zubac for Mike Muscala?" And the Lakers, or the Clippers said, "Okay." There's that screen away for Walker. Couldn't hit the three. They're 0 for 6 now, and there's the play that they're going to run a lot of. Walker, they're going to hide him on his fellow number 8, Mo Harkless. Mo Harkless loves to post up deep to take advantage of not being a primary option, being guarded by smaller players. That's something, as we've talked about in previous Clippers broadcasts, that Doc Rivers got killed by Harkless back in a playoff series in 2016 on those same sorts of actions against J.J. Redick. Walker keeping George. Oh, nice defense by Kemba Walker. Kept him towards the baseline. Here's Tice rolling in on George and scores.
And a really nice job of Kemba of occupying Paul George and allowing Tice to get in there for that finish.
George to Zubac, swings it. Leonard not ready to shoot. Now they just double team him in the corner. That was odd.
Terrible by Tice because Tice went over and created a wide open passing angle for his own guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it that way, he's got to be standing kind of by the block. You're not going to just straight double team him. And then presumably someone had to rotate over, which did not occur either. Tice working to get open. Now Tatum to his right into Zubac. And there you see the size of Zubac, even though Tatum with a nice physical finish. Here you see the Celtics switching early in the possession, and that leaves George in the mismatch guarded by Kemba Walker and just turns over him and shoots it. That's one where Brad Stevens would love for them to be able to switch out of that matchup, but there's nobody there to do that who had more size than Walker. Backdoor, Brown, nice pass from Tyson, he's fouled.
And I think that was a good a good help by Kawhi Leonard, but just wasn't quite there in enough time to affect what Jaylen Brown wanted to do.
Yeah, and Brown with a little fake screen away and then cut, and a beautiful pass from Daniel Tice. Oh, we got a Mark Davis game, by the way.
Yeah.
So Mark Davis, in case if you don't know his reputation, he does not go for bullshit foul drawing techniques.
He was the hero. Was that of the Rockets Clippers series where he was like the only guy who wasn't calling the Lou Williams, James Harden stuff a couple years ago?
That might have been Thunder. Thunder Rockets.
Thunder Rockets.
Yeah,
that's right.
In 2017, yeah.
It's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, so our first chance to tell you about bookies.com. NBA bettors can get book smart at bookies.com throughout the entire season. They give you the edge and knowledge to crush online bookies, whether you're betting spreads, money lines, totals, or parlays. Knowledge is money. They will be putting our knowledge to work there as well with some betting stuff.
Yeah, and what I was most impressed by, we're seeing the proliferation of sports books, especially legal U.S.-based ones, and bookies.com, plural, they have live updating odds comparisons. So if you're more interested in the payout or you're interested in a line difference, and there are material line differences for games like this one, you can get that there so you can maximize your advantage.
Yeah, it is a site to give you the information. Of course, they also have links to some of your favorite betting outlets as well, which you can take advantage of. So let's do some questions here. Should Robert Williams start for the Celtics?
I mean, I think that the end game is probably that, but especially with Marcus Smart in the like we know as they're adjusting with Gordon Hayward, I think that it's totally reasonable to kind of be a little bit more judicious and play it a little bit differently with Tice for now. I don't think Enes Kanter is a good fit for that lineup, so I think I'd go Tice, but if they think Williams is the future, you can push it more quickly.
Yeah, I think Tice, I would have thought he wouldn't be a good fit, but he's started off great. I mean, the fact that they've defended as well as they have, he deserves credit for that. But also, to me, Williams is kind of a feast or famine energy type of guy. Also unclear health-wise how many minutes he can play. And he also is very prone to getting into foul trouble. So, you don't want to necessarily put him in there, be feast or famine, and he, gets into bad starts.
Right.
You can throw him in there. If he's playing really well, you leave him out there, but you don't want to be necessarily depending on him with the starting group. So I think hopefully at some point he's ready, but in terms of foul trouble, injuries, execution, he's not consistent enough in any of those areas yet.
Yeah, I mean, and considering how well Boston has succeeded so far, you can lean on that. Have we seen the last of the Dunked On background tapestry? I mean, in some ways for us, hopefully.
Yeah.
But we will mention patreon.com/DuncanWaru. We are still doing the Patreon. We are still putting that content out there. And we're going to do a subscriber mailbag in the next few days, next week or so. So look forward to that.
Jaylen Brown hitting the first free throw. That's been a bit of a bugaboo for him in his career. His three-point percentages have exceeded his free throw percentages on a relative scale, which is sometimes not a great sign. He's 1 out of 2 that time. George, he's got 4 guys on the opposite side. Beverly trying to screen for Leonard, doesn't make contact. Leonard facing up on Brown, yes. And when Kawhi Leonard faces up in the mid-range, turns like that, Jaylen Brown has to eat up that space or he's just going to shoot right over him. And if you don't make Kawhi Leonard put the ball on the floor, it's a bucket just about every time. Here's Tice going into 3 guys. Good help from Leonard. Tries to find someone. He missed Brown open in the corner. Now they're late clock. Walker into the lane. Swings it around. Brown, quick movement. Wanamaker misses the 3, though. Leonard looking to push. Steps back on Tice. That's way short. Actually, it's something that Justin Jacobs wrote about earlier. He's a guy who does some consulting with the Rockets, among other teams. As Walker misses the 3, is that
I believe that's their 9th missed 3.
Pull-up jump shots are more likely to be short and are also flatter than spot-up jump shots. Here's Brown, and he just has to be wrapped up by Paul George. That shot from Leonard actually just got thrown away. It was a nice deflection by Brown.
Yeah, it's actually 0 for 8. So the Celtics are 3 of 5 on 2s, including that transition one, and they're missed all 8 of their 3s. By comparison, 2 of 6 for the Clippers, and then 3 of 4 inside the arc. A couple of those over Kemba Walker.
I gotta say, I do miss, as Brown misses another free throw, I do miss the flat top from Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get our first look at Enes Kanter and our first look at Lou Williams. That's not a good combination for the Celtics right now to have those 2 players matched up. Kanter really struggles in pick-and-roll defense. We'll see whether the scheme remains to have the center way out on the floor. You know they're going to run a ton of pick-and-roll for Lou Williams. George is in still. Leonard has taken to the bench. Here's Beverly, gets the screen from George. Wide open foul line jumper is good. Not the shot that you normally see from Patrick Beverly, but it was conceded and he took it.
Well, the Clippers are drilling their 2s, but they've been very clean looks so far.
Double high screen for Brown. Into the lane. Oh, stopped from behind by George. Has to throw a desperate pass that Kanter saves. Wanamaker has to attack Beverly. Finds Kanter underneath. Pump fake and scores. And that was poor defense from Patrick Beverly. Now Lou Williams looking to go at Wanamaker. Now he gets the screen from Zubac. Good defense, but Lou Williams makes the bucket anyway. I mean, that's with a guy on his back, the floater from the right baseline. That's about as good as you can do, but he makes it. Here's Walker at the elbow. Double screen again. Zubac stepping way out. Wanamaker swings it. Brown, his 3. Can't make one. He's struggled, but Kanter abusing the Clippers on the offensive glass.
Well, and that's something I wanted to see. The Celtics had rough rebounding numbers for the season, but now that they have Kanter back, maybe that starts to shift.
Here's Semi Ojeleye. He steps out on Lou Williams, and again, a decent contest is to no avail.
6 of 7 for the Clippers inside the arc.
And it hasn't really been at the basket. It's been a lot of mid-rangers so far. Here's Walker. He gets Zubac out on the floor. Attacks. Oh, and he's fouled from behind. He'll go to the line. So interesting that they are bringing Zubac out higher now on some of these plays. And Walker can just accelerate right past Zubac. And he beat him for one layup and now goes to the foul line.
And Paul George would have been there on a contest, but big men, you know, they have their instincts. I need to be the person who gets in the way here, especially considering he was already there.
Pretty amazing that, granted, George and Leonard haven't played together yet, but that they have a third guy averaging 22 points a game on this team. Man, Boston can't hit a free throw right now.
Well, and it brings, I mean, this is the first time we're going to get a chance to see it, an interesting question of how does this overall ecosystem offensively work? You know, like you can see a circumstance where having Lou Williams on this team makes sense. He can shoulder some possessions, especially when one of those two guys is sitting. But it is more of a luxury, and if another team maybe overvalues Lou Williams, can the Clippers use that or just his team-friendly contract to get somebody who fits better?
So now with Harrell in, they really have a chance to go at Cantor. George looking to post up. Now they'll swing it. Williams screening for Magruder, who has come on. The Clippers got him in a basically free transaction. Williams tries to draw the foul. Doesn't matter. Scores anyway. Yeah, Lou, one of the few who can intentionally try to draw the foul and still have a chance of making the shot as well. Walker, pick and roll. Harrell stepping out nicely. They'll swing at Wanamaker. They are helping liberally off of him. And finally, it goes right at Lou Williams, and you see the utter defenselessness of Lou Williams when anyone attacks him off the dribble.
He just conceded the space to Wanamaker.
And Wanamaker is not some awesome dribble drive guy. He's averaging less than one drive per game. Missed corner three from Magruder. Brown, hesitation, cut off by George. Pulls up. Nice play by Jaylen Brown. He finally gets one to go. You can see he's pleased with himself after his earlier struggles. They're trying to run some screening action for George off the baseline. Pulls up. Late contest from Brown. Forces the miss. Cantor on the glass. Keeps it alive. And now Ojale controls. It's been pretty good defense by Boston so far, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. They're other than some mouse in the house plays, but they didn't really do that incorrectly. It just happened.
So Boston had Brown posted up on Lou Williams, and Harrell kicked him out of there. Now it's Cantor posting up on Harrell, and Cantor just overpowers him nicely.
That was a nice scram, though, with the ball in the air. Something, when an entry pass is a little slower, the teams have the capacity to do.
They force Williams towards the baseline. Cantor steps up on Williams. Harrell in the lane. Very awkward, almost nonchalant shot there from Harrell. Double high screen again. They're trying to involve Lou Williams, and now, see, this is no good. They got to get it back to Walker here. Instead, they want to post up again. I think the Walker should have just gone at Lou Williams. Instead, it's the Cantor post up. No foul call that time. Lou now guarded by Ojale. Sizes him up. Goes to the baseline off a late screen from Harrell, but misses finally. Walker, and we're going to get a timeout by Brad Stevens, as it's been a bit of a defensive struggle so far here.
Yeah, I mean, both teams below a point per possession at this point. A lot of that, though, due to missed threes. I mean, the Celtics still haven't made a three-pointer, 0 for 9. Clippers 2 for 7, but they've made a ton of jump shots, but they've just been mid-rangers.
Yeah, also a pretty slow-paced game so far here. Any good questions available?
There's an argument about BPM versus PER. Well, somebody asked over under a half, so basically one or fewer regular season MVPs for Luka in his career.
Oh, before this season, I would have said under. Regular season MVPs. You know, I think the reason I would say over is because there really aren't many great players who were drafted in the 5 years before.
I'm so angry that you took my answer. It's just like, the biggest weight there is Giannis. I mean, because if we're looking pre-prime players who have been at an MVP caliber, or at least kind of like in that like reasonable level, Giannis obviously because he already won, and Luka's there, and you know like maybe and remember like some of the other guys that have looked great are centers, and the modern history of centers winning MVPs, much less being MVP caliber, is pretty marginal. So yeah, I think I'll go over, but it is a tentative over despite how great he has played so far this year. Just because MVPs are so hard to win.
Yeah. Well, if he just plays like this for the rest of the year, I mean, he might be the MVP this year. Top tier in the East so far.
So, For the regular season, I mean, it's a little bit of a different conversation for me. But when I think about tiers, it is mostly about like championship contention. So I'm gonna lean, still towards the Bucks with their, with Giannis and the kind of the theory of their team, and then I'm moving the Sixers down. This is something Matt Moore and I talked about. I'm gonna have them in a tier just because their offensive struggles are concerning for me. Maybe have Boston and maybe Miami in that tier. But yeah, that's kind of about where I'd go. I'd have Milwaukee by themselves. And yeah, I mean, in terms of regular season record, they might not be there both because games can bounces and that type of stuff, but also Chris Middleton missing time. So how about you?
I think it's still Milwaukee and Philly right now. Philly hasn't had their team together, and I also think they're just going to be much harder to deal with in the playoffs.
We have one we have to do.
Okay.
Brown or Tatum. Bringing it back to the Twitter NBA show like Hallmark and the early NBA cast.
Yeah, Tatum's had a rough start to the year. Braun has had a good start, so it might be neck and neck again.
Oh God.
I'll tell you in 4 years. All right, we're back here. Grant Williams has come on. Smart player, can't really jump, but and has struggled from three so far, but excellent screener, makes a lot of smart plays, good backdoor passer, some switchability.
And something encouraging, including on that drive there by Tatum, I lamented his lack of aggressiveness plays, meaning finishes at the rim and fouls. He's been done a couple drives in this game that actually bore fruit.
Wow, terrible inbounds that they could not get anyone open, and Harrell with the steal, he's going to go right at Cantor and pull up over him. Harrell, you remember the last game we did when he was making every floater against the
Harrell
Bucks.
Float game against the Bucks, yeah.
So here now they're attacking Lou Williams, pull back by Tatum, and he's got to get a better shot than that against Lou Williams.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Lou Williams give up against Wanamaker.
Oh, tough pass right at the knees of Harrell. Then a beautiful bouncer, and Tatum will dunk it. What a look that was. There's Terrence Mann who's come on for his first action of the game now.
And I was wondering how we were going to see how Doc Rivers was going to manage Kawhi and Paul George, because they do have other players who can shoulder the offensive burden, most notably Lou Williams. But having another player like Kawhi or Paul George having one of them on the floor at all times is just such an insane luxury.
Into the post to Harrell against Robert Williams. Let's see if Williams can avoid fouling here. Williams cuts him off nicely. That's pretty decent defense. Pass a little behind Wanamaker. They're going to try for the 2-for-1 here. Wanamaker, not the best guy to take that shot. He had the three, didn't take it. Now he goes for the floater instead, and Leonard corrals the rebound. Not enough time for their own Lou for one here, sadly enough. They'll run the time down with about an 8-second differential.
And that's Wanamaker guarding Kawhi, right? I mean, it seems like you just go over there for a straight ISO.
Yeah, no, instead it's the Lou-Trez pick and roll. Trez into Williams. Oh,
what a cut.
Williams, I just praised how smart he was, and he got backdoored to death right there.
Jermichael Green with a nice dunk.
8 seconds left, high pick and roll. They're going to try to look for Tatum here in the post. Now he can take that mid-ranger, and Lou Williams with the foul to give. Nice, smart foul that time. We usually don't like that, but when you're Lou Williams in the post against Tatum, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, when you're conceding an advantage, and Lou Williams not really a high foul guy, so it's not like you're worried about that coming back to bite him in the end. They also have other options in case he is in foul trouble.
They get it into Smart. He's going to try to attack against Leonard. Tough pull-up is off, and it'll be a 1-point game. Little clunky so far, I'd say, for the Clippers. With the George-Leonard pairing. Part of that is because of the lack of spot-up shooters in that starting group, where one of those guys always has to be a spot-up shooter because they're the best that the team has.
Yeah, and I mean also just a lot of missed shots so far. But I will mention that interestingly, in the first quarter, both teams' leading scorers are bench guys. Enes Kanter, 6 points, 3 of 5 from the field, including 2 offensive rebounds. I think one of his baskets was a putback, and then the another one that didn't go in. And then Lou Williams, 3 for 4 from the field, bunch of mid rangers, but a couple clean looks from mid range, and then one really tough one by, I think that was Ojale. And the Celtics still have not made a 3-pointer, 0 for 9 from long distance, but they have the advantage on the offensive glass, something that has been a challenge for them in the early going. Having Enes Kanter back surely helps there.
Yeah, especially with the Clippers, with Harrell out there, not the greatest defensive rebounding group. Yeah, Kanter, I thought, gave him more than he took off the table in that first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Smart possibly being one of the more underrated players in the league? 37% on volume threes over the last 2 years. Elite defense, good playmaking.
I mean, so Smart's defensive versatility is really what makes him super valuable. And I mean, the playmaking, it depends on the threshold. Like we've seen this before in the regular season. Sure, absolutely valuable. It can be a complimentary guy, and he's been more confident with the 3-pointer. I'm not super sold on 37% yet, even though just because of do teams respect it? We've talked about the value of that before,
Right?
But it certainly can be a part of a successful team. And now that the 3-point shooting is kind of at the level enough where teams are a little bit more comfortable with it, I like him. I mean, I don't think he's indispensable, but certainly valuable. And he's paid, when you think about him on his contract, then he gets even better, more desirable.
Yeah, and both he and Hayward having these great starts to the year is great for them, but also complicates a potential trade that they might want to make to upgrade the matching salary. I mean, you basically got Kanter and Tice to add up to about $10 million. That's your best hope. Presumably, they would also be trying to trade for a center. Give you the shot chart action. The Clippers only took 2 shots at the rim, got a few floaters up. Overall, they were 8 out of 14 on twos and 2 for 7 from downtown.
By comparison, Celtics, 9 shots in the restricted area, made 7 of those, and I believe they offensive rebounded at least 1, maybe both of those misses. 2 of 5 from floater range, missed all 3 of their mid-rangers and all 9 of their threes, so presumably what we would call 0 for 12 on jump shots. Not great.
Yeah, and the other thing that they've done a nice job of, the Celtics, is keeping the Clippers off the foul line. The Clippers are one of the best in the NBA at that. Only 0 for 2, just those 2 Zubac missed free throws is all they had in the first. That's the biggest reason, despite okay enough shooting, that the Clippers had a below average offensive first quarter. Smart will initiate as the point guard. Williams in the front court. Tatum and Wanamaker also up there. Oh, nice backdoor for Robert Williams. This is really nice stuff here. And the back screen from Wanamaker, it was a Spain pick and roll type of action, beautifully disguised. And that's how Williams got so open. Wanamaker set a back screen right in the back of his man. Here's Williams, closed down late by Wanamaker. Now here's a 3 from JaMychal Green, who has shot it so well since coming over from Memphis.
And that kind of shot and the positioning is exactly why you and I have been so into JaMychal Green being the crunch time 5 for the Clippers.
Smart forced to the baseline by Magruder. He floats it up. They wish he had that one against Sacramento at the end of the game the other night. This Smart Kawhi matchup is going to be really interesting to watch here. Williams forced towards his left by Wanamaker. There are 3 Williamses on the court right now. That's going to be a little confusing. Green with the rebound. Blocked by Tatum. He gets the long arms on it. Lou Williams to his left. Floats it up. Can't get the foul that time. Wanamaker has done a good job contesting from behind. Here's Smart's 3 from the left wing. Another miss. Boston can't get the lid off the rim. But Grant Williams puts it in and is fouled by Magruder. The defensive glass becoming an increasing problem for LA.
Yeah, and I believe that gives the Celtics their first lead of the game. 5th offensive rebound for the Boston Celtics in just 13 and a half minutes of action. I mean, that's an offensive rebound rate right now of 29% for the Celtics.
Williams taken 22nd overall out of Tennessee. Green looking for Leonard to come to the near side block. Smart meets him there, and good pressure from Grant Williams prevented an entry pass. Now they run the same look to the opposite side, and Smart engaged with Leonard, not letting him get a good look on the block. Now he finally gets it, trying to body up into the lane, fades, and can't get it. Good body by Marcus Smart. Tatum off a Williams screen, gets his man on his back. Mid-ranger, draws the foul. Nice play. That's the kind of bullshit foul drawing that Tatum needs to add to his game. And Magruder, a little over-aggressive there to prevent what's a difficult mid-ranger.
Yeah, and Tatum was a more heavy foul drawer in his rookie year. Granted, a very different role within the offense at that point. But he can, and I think should, bring that back in. Ooh, misses the free throw, though.
Yeah, Boston broke from the line at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, so they've gotten there 8 times, and they've only made 4 of those, so they haven't been able to cultivate the advantage so far.
Finally, a make for Boston. Still got the Leonard-Smart matchup. They go under on Leonard quickly. Rescreen coming. Nice job by Williams trapping him. They find Beverly for the open 3. That's off, though. Not really in rhythm. And then Beverly throws it off his own heel, and it goes out of bounds.
Tried for the Chicago point guard offensive rebound. Didn't quite get it there.
Yeah, the offensive rebound after your own missed jumper, sadly, that's
Is
kind
the
of the
Chicago
thing, too, because Chicago point guards can't really shoot. Beverly has made himself into a pretty decent shooter, in fairness. Here's Wanamaker inside, going right at Lou Williams, and that was a called play off the out of bounds to just cut him right across the face of Lou Williams, who, again, provides zero resistance. That's the type of play that Brad Stevens will just get you every once in a while, as Lou then throws it away on the other end.
And some nice interior passes by unusual Celtics so far, with that Tatum pass and the one there to Wanamaker.
Yeah, Wanamaker, not a great shooter, not a high usage guy, but has been steady early on here in the Celtics season. Swings it to Tatum, steps out for a 3, but the footwork wasn't quite right there. That's why he was short on that shot. That's one of those plays where it was a little awkward to get beyond the three-point line. Here's Harrell in the middle. Nice help from Williams. Great rotation from Smart. That's just impeccable defense from the Celtics off the pick-and-roll trap. Now that's Beverly getting to his right, and Harrell with the cleanup as Williams could not get the box out.
Well, and the speed of that blow-by forced the help, and that gave Harrell a little bit of an edge for the tip slam.
Back to 4. They're looking to screen away from Tatum. Another small point guard who likes to guard bigger players, Beverly guarding Tatum. Smart pressured by Leonard. Loses it, gets it back into the lane. Here's Tatum. Run off the line by Beverly. Short on the long 2. Now they've got guys behind the play. Leonard will pull up for 3. Yes.
And think about how inconceivable that pull-up Kawhi 3 was in transition like 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, or when he first was drafted in particular. Williams pressured well by Green. Wanamaker off the Williams handoff. Not a threat to shoot that shot. Now he gets into the lane, though. Williams dies on the screen. Swing it to Tatum in the corner. And another miss from Jason Tatum. He struggled to take advantage of some open looks. Now Williams, as Williams goes for the steal.
But the other Williams wasn't in the frame. It's your nightmare. It's your nightmare, Nate.
Oh, man. I'm going to just have to start going with first names here. It was bad enough in that finals with Klay Thompson and Tristan Thompson. But those guys didn't do any similar things, at least, so it wasn't too bad. And they're on opposite teams. Lou forced towards the baseline again. Tice has returned. He's got the matchup against Harrell. Paul George is back as well. Again, they don't let him get to the baseline. What a pass from George! And it's going to be a foul on Tice. No, what are they going to say here? Are they going to say a goaltend on Tice?
Maybe a goaltend on Harrell? Maybe did it hit his hand as it was kind of like in the net?
Let's see if we can get to this pass from George. Is
wrap around, yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Maybe it hit the shot clock or something.
Tatum looking for Smart off the Tice screen. Harold not interested in getting out there. And the Boston, have they hit a three yet?
They have not. 0 for 13.
Oof. I mean, that's a wide open look. George tried to draw the foul. Tatum
Yikes.
did well to avoid it. And John Hollinger wrote a great piece today. He actually, in a private conversation when he was still working for the Grizzlies, convinced me of this. Yeah, that's a great block from Tice. That the 3-shot foul should be eliminated. And we've talked about that too, except for the last 2 minutes of the game, because it's just too large of a reward. Now there's a nice Euro step from Tatum, but he just airballed it. Wow, that was weird. I think he was worried about crashing into someone. Leonard and George, we're going to see them together again. He blows past Tice. Oh, that's an offensive foul. He elbowed him right in the face. And we'll get a timeout here.
So as we head to the break, Boston, I mean, this has been an absolute rock fight. Both teams with fewer than 0.9 points per possession, offensive ratings in the high 80s, which is definitely a concern. And it's largely been missing shots. I think it's been, at moments, good defense, forcing better contests, but then also just some wide open ones, especially for the Celtics, that just have gone wanting.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, by the way, we got a sponsor, Bookies.com. They're going to be sponsoring us all season. And part of the good part of that is you're going to see more episodes. We committed to 40 episodes with them, 20 in the regular season and at least 20 in the playoffs. You can get stuff from Bookies.com for their NBA betting analyst, Mark Stratman. He studies the latest news, trends, and figures at Bookies.com, so you don't have to. I think he's got a pretty good betting average, like 58%, I think, so far.
Nice.
This year on his picks, but obviously his expertise is good too. He used to write about the NBA for NBC Sports Chicago. And what else is good about them? You tell
Well,
me.
I think something that you can check out is their Twitter handle. So just go to @bookies, easy to remember, BOOKIES, and so that way you can, if you could check the site, which is the way that I would recommend doing it. But then you can pop in your timeline. So if you're somebody like the two of us who's plugged into Twitter, you can just get that when it comes in.
Yeah, give them a follow at Bookies.com. Thoughts on the Wiseman news / situation? I couldn't possibly care less about the NCAA and its stupid eligibility things. I'm not gonna and the lawsuit and all that. That's just so boring. I don't care that he got money from a booster, or that he now has to repay the money. He's supposed to be available to play again January 12th. So if he's good, he still can practice with the team. So if he's good, that shouldn't hurt him at all, I don't think, in the end.
And for bigs, the decrease in film is a problem, but I don't think of it as big of a problem because they're not going to get a ridiculous amount of touches anyway. It's not the circumstance of like a point guard.
And also 3-point shooting, you're not as worried about a potential lack of sample size there. That's
true.
I mean, he's supposed to maybe be a stretch big eventually, but I don't know that that's going to be a major part of his game this year at the college level.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one. From Katana. Do you think Luka Doncic's stats are the latest example of Westbrook-type stat padding? I don't. I mean,
like the rebounding?
I haven't noticed it particularly.
Yeah. Well, this isn't like you have a great rebounder next. Like Porzingis is actually a pretty poor defensive rebounder.
They're not a box-out artiste.
Yeah.
And I mean assists. I don't think anybody would really consider that stat padding except for like in the Rondo-esque circumstances. So yeah, and scoring is scoring. I mean he's been so efficient. I wouldn't consider it that way. We're back.
Walker has returned. Looks like the Clippers are in a little bit of a zone look here to throw off the ATO. Jaylen Brown takes a three, misses it. Smart. Oh, what a rebound! You see Harrell. Not getting
what
the
a
rebound.
pass.
And then, what a sequence there. Ojale denied by George after the great pass. And what are they going to call here?
I think it was like maybe a shot clock malfunction.
No, they needed a reset maybe. Did it hit the shot clock? This look is just ridiculous.
Oh.
But George, I mean, to get up there with his left hand, that's why you block shots with your left hand on a right-handed player. Brown, backdoor. Ojale was open. They missed him. Late in the clock, it's going to be Walker against Williams. They're attacking him relentlessly. Ojale, his three. Williams with a good close on him. It's off. Yet another miss. That's 0 for 15 now. That was a good contest, though. George into the mix against Ojale. Tied up by Smart. What are they going to get here? Looks like a foul.
And this has been a relatively clean game in terms of free throws. The Celtics have gotten there 9 times, but only 2 for the Clippers. That means an 11 free throw first half through 18 minutes.
Beverly looking for the screen from Harkless. They'll just switch that. Now there's a screen on the opposite side for George. Way off, though, with the 3. And a good box out by Walker against his number 8 counterpart. Little drag screen. Tice swings it just a little late to Brown. Good close from Harrell. Brown still can't hit it. 0 for 16. Tice on the offensive glass. Right up and good. And with Harrell, their best defensive rebounder, out contesting the shot on the perimeter. Just not enough size down low for LA.
Yeah, 8 offensive rebounds for the Celtics.
Williams back to Beverly. Good help from Smart off of Beverly to take away that Williams shot that would have been there off the screen. Williams, 3, way short. Neither team shooting it well here. Walker into 3 guys and just has to loop up a pass, and it's out of bounds.
And I'm happy they didn't give Kemba the call there. He just ran into a thicket, and you shouldn't get rewarded there.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go there. And Beverly, again, with good help off of Jaylen Brown. We'll see Zubac return. Sometimes he doesn't get a second stint in these games. So I thought their offense, to me, looked the best when he was out there. And also, they might actually get a defensive rebound.
Maybe.
Looking for George. Smart calls out the switch nicely, but then it's going to be a hold on Jaylen Brown. Off that switch on the weak side, he held Lou Williams.
And sadly, ESPN does not put up team fouls, but I think that's like the second for Boston in the first 7 minutes.
And that was total bullshit, that call. And Mark Davis fell for it. The god, Mark Davis, fell for bullshit foul drawing from Lou Williams. Smart again, great defensive communication onto Williams. Williams going nowhere against Smart. Man, he's a good defensive player. Zubac, nice pass from Paul George.
He's had a couple really nice ones so far.
That's the third, yeah. All of them to the roll man. And Kawhi has shown better passing this year. George had showed some growth as a passer beginning late in his years in Indiana, but it's still more room for improvement there for him as well. And Zubac, let's see if he can actually make a free throw here.
Yeah, he missed he has all 4 of the free throws for the Clippers so far in this game.
Yeah, Walker just clubbed him across both arms.
Makes them both.
Yeah, it's really been not fouling that's keeping Boston in this game right now, in contrast to their execrable three-point shooting. Walker, he got ripped up. I think it might have hit off the back of his own guy's foot. Harkless going in on Ojale, can't get it. Lou Williams with the first offensive board of his career. Zubac keeping it alive 3 times. He wanted a foul, and I think he'll get it finally.
While we have a beat, I'll do a little score update. There's only one other game going on right now, and kudos to the Nuggets. They got hit with a 13-0 Rockets run, but rebounded well. They're up 10 now against the Rockets with 9:30 to go in the fourth quarter.
What happened in that Jazz-Minnesota game?
Utah won 103-95. I'll run through all the scores during a stoppage.
Yeah, and I think it's really has looked much better for the Clippers with Zubac in there than Harrell. Missed another free throw, though. Wanamaker is back for the Celtics. Cantor is back as well. Double drag for Walker. Engages Zubac. Gets past him. Blocked from behind. That time Zubac didn't let him get all the way to the rim. George looking to attack Wanamaker. Wanamaker.
That looked clean.
Yeah, I think what happened was he got it clean initially, and then George kept going through him with his strength, and his arm slid off the ball onto his arm, and that is it rightfully called a foul. Let's see if we can catch it here. Yeah. Yeah, his right arm went on to the left arm of George eventually. So we praise Boston for not fouling, and they fouled on like the last 4 possessions now.
I guess the announcer's jinx applies to us as well. We'll have to use it judiciously. Oh, good. Ben put that sequence together with the pass of the block. That you can check that on YouTube. I just retweeted it and Nate tweeted out.
Nice switch by Magruder to deny Walker. He finally gets it back, gets to the middle, down the lane again. Zubac stops him again. Zubac timing him up. Ooh, that was a carry by Beverly. They didn't call it. He trapped the ball against his thigh. George looking to attack Wanamaker. They force him towards the sideline. Swing it to Beverly.
He missed Harkless. Then Beverly passed and he wasn't looking.
Mark Davis was wide open, though.
He was. I mean, Harkless was pretty open, too. He just didn't look.
Yeah, but just take that wide open 3. It's
Okay.
in rhythm. I think that's a better look than Harkless would have had, actually.
That came very close to hitting Harkless in the head.
That look from Harkless, like, what are you throwing it to me for? You're wide open. Like, I mean, when you're so open that any potential pass receivers are already starting to go to the offensive glass, you should probably be taking the shot at that point, I would say.
As a big picture question from Sam Eames, do you see defensive rebounding and shot blocking being a big enough weakness for the Clippers to curtail the strength on the wing against teams like the Lakers? Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think that the Lakers put such a relentless attack in there, and the Clippers can do, they have personnel to slow down LeBron a little bit, as good as anybody can with Kawhi, and most notably. But yeah, it could be a problem. That's a part of why people like yours truly have argued that if the Clippers, and they will, use their first round pick to upgrade on talent, center is the most important position. You don't do that necessarily for a single series, but there are lots of other teams that have capability attacking the rim, the Bucks among them too, that could be a challenge, even though Kawhi was the best defender of Giannis in last year's postseason. Question from Detlef. From this decade, 2010 to 2019, which teams in specific seasons were your favorite league pass watches? That's interesting. Because, there were the years that the Warriors were the most entertaining team in the league, like basically the pre-Durant years most notably, they were on TV a fair amount. I would say, honestly, one of them was the 14-15 Warriors. People forget that team was not particularly hyped. I mean, there were a few believers that they were going to be really, really good, but not that many. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Last year's Kings were really fun. Because I'm trying to think of the LeBron Heat teams were fascinating, but they were also on national TV a ton. I'd like to think about that. Considering I ran the League Pass Games of the Week column for such a long time for Real GM, which has now been taken over by Keith Smith, I should have a good answer there. So I will continue to think about it. It's a very good question. Mark Davis from Derek C. Mark Davis will make some pretty unbelievable calls. And yeah, that is the weird thing about Mark Davis. He makes some of the best, calls that in terms of the stuff that we care about. But then he also just does have some weird calls, just like
people in
else.
the league hate him. Actually, but
yeah, but also Davis, just like everybody else, it's a great example of just how hard NBA basketball is to officiate, because they can get those kind of things right that are touchstones for us, but then there are just so many other things to make or miss over time.
Yeah, people in the league just hate every ref except my name question. Clippers back in that ATO zone on defense. Swing it to Tatum. Nice attack off the dribble. Driving kick. Nice pass from Brown. That'll set up Wanamaker's 3. Yes, finally! They're off the side.
The seal is broken.
And it took that beautiful passing sequence to do it.
Not quite at Rockets level, but it's 16 missed threes for the Celtics before the Wanamaker made that one.
But they lead.
They do.
George, pull up, mid-range. Yes. Over Cantor, but You'll take that shot.
Yeah, that wasn't as clean as some of the ones they got in the first.
Paul George can get hot on those, but at least it's not a three. Tatum, they push Walker out on the floor. Now the pick and roll. Swing it to Brown. Going into George. Cut off nicely. Cantor sets the screen for Wanamaker. Into the lane. Tough float with the left is off. He did not want to challenge Zubac. George, right past Cantor. Just traffic coned him that time. And that's the first time we've seen, Danny, that Cantor get really beaten in pick and roll defense.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what Tatum was trying to do in that screen. It's kind of like he stepped up to get around it, but then Paul George was long gone.
Cantor up top, looking for some screening action. Walker on that sharp angle DHO. Cut off George. Again, great help off of Braun and able to recover to the corner as well. Now Walker gets into the lane. Scared of Zubac again, and he just loops a terrible pass into the stands.
And we're getting a good glimpse of the Clippers' defensive potential because they have enough guys that they don't have to put Paul George or Kawhi on the other team's best offensive player.
Yeah, and George in particular, I mean, he might be the best in the NBA at helping at the exact right time, making you think he's there, and then still being able to get back to the shooter. Zubac at the elbow. Nice switch by Boston to take away that action. They knew exactly what was coming. Leonard is back. He swings it to Beverly. No advantage gained. Zubac trying to post. Instead, Beverly will take the three. Cantor held Zubac just enough to avoid the foul call and prevent the rebound. Brown ripped up by Beverly. George in transition. He's got Harkless behind him. Harkless stopped running oddly. Finds Leonard. And what are they going to call here?
They call it travel?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that right foot ended up being his pivot foot, and he dragged it.
It is still a little bit weird to see Ty Lue on the bench again with Doc Rivers. Now, yeah, Harkless still guarding Kemba for this continue as what we've seen all game.
Yeah, this will be an interesting last section of the quarter here. Now Kemba getting past Zubac, but he lost it again. They have not succeeded in attacking Zubac in pick and roll. George in the corner, and then he just lost it out of bounds. He was looking to make the pass to Zubac and didn't catch the ball first.
That is the 10th turnover for the Clippers compared to 5 for Boston. The possession game is part of why this game is close, despite them missing every single three but the last one.
And what is this? Technical foul?
We will rely on those with audio to explain what happened.
Yeah, Kemba just picked up a tech. Yeah, that's not a surprise. He's been driving, feels like he's getting hit, but I haven't seen much there, to be honest.
No, I haven't either.
George will take a seat. Lou Williams is back.
Oh, Nate, we missed in the other game. We missed a challenge of a Harden 3.33 shot foul.
Successful challenge?
Unsuccessful challenge.
Zubac just trying to make every catch a little bit difficult. Doc Rivers loves to do that. Smart has Williams on his back. Floater, yeah. That's such a key shot for Marcus Smart because he's not really able to get all the way to the rim and finish. Was great at it in college. Here's Williams. And man, how many terrible passes that have just gone into the stands we've seen tonight. But a lot of pressure from these two good defenses. So Celtics probably behooves them to run the time down here, try and shoot it with about 35 left. No, instead they just get an easy backdoor, and that was nice. That was really nice. They were denying Cantor, forcing him further out on the floor, so he just decided to go backdoor on Zubac, and they found him perfectly. Great sync to find him on that play as well. Here's Leonard, stripped by Cantor. Stripped by Cantor, Danny.
And then he throws the pass.
And then they throw it.
How many passes in the crowd is But still, Cantor got the steal.
Steve Ballmer, that was basically right to him. Yeah, what a pass that was.
Yeah, I mean, we usually see that kind of a cut from a perimeter shooter when they're getting a down screen, but Cantor used it beautifully.
Yeah, Klay Thompson, Manu Ginobili are the guys who will make those kind of cuts a lot of times. So there's not time for the Lou for one, sadly. They tried the screening action. Don't want to switch this to get Kawhi into Walker, but they're stuck there. Braun kicks him out. No advantage gained there. 8 on the clock. Leonard to the baseline. Going into Braun. Blows the layup. Push it ahead. Tatum going right at Williams. He's going to lay it in easily. They did not wait, but with that sure of a two-pointer, probably behooved him to go take the layup. Now let's see if Lou Williams can create something late. They lob it up. Oh, how is that not a foul? Tice is down, and they are going to finally call something, I think, here. No, they didn't.
He called nothing.
Yeah, Tice just crashed into Beverly. That was a poor pass from Williams, but I mean, we're seeing just a level of pressure from these two teams on each other. That's why all of these turnovers have taken place.
So we head into halftime. A defensive struggle. 42 for the Celtics, 40 for the LA Clippers. Paul George is the leading scorer with 12 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. He looked good early on and then had 2 pretty scary misses. He's also made 3 free throws. Leading scorer for the Celtics is still Enes Kanter. He only had 2 points in the quarter, but 8 total, plus 5 rebounds and 1 steal. That notable steal. Kanter is also plus 5 in 9 minutes.
Yeah, catch you up on the advanced stats, which you've been looking at, courtesy of our friend Min Huang, who has a site called rthoops.net. You can check that out. Sign up there. It's you just have to create a username and password. It doesn't cost anything right now, and you can get access to the same stuff. So thanks to Min for providing that. He's finally created a public site. He's been giving those to us for the last year or so as a courtesy. But pretty terrible. 82.4 offensive rating and 80 offensive rating. You see there a lot of red on here, indicating that these are not high percentages. The offensive glass, really the only thing that's been working out much for these teams so far.
Yeah, and something else, yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes from here, but generally I would say this has been a mix of quite good defense and then some missed shots that will normally fall. So I think this will be a low offensive game even in a more normalized second half because of the way they played. Oh, see, I got asked a question which when you were out about the favorite league pass teams of the last decade. Any particular ones that stand out to you?
No, not right at this moment. And the reason I'm going to say that is because I'm going to add that to the Google Doc that I just created today of things that I want to add to our all-decade podcasts. So thanks for that. We'll do a whole segment on that on the pod. I'm going to write that down right now. Yeah, if anybody else has any suggestions there,
yeah, we're planning on doing a lot of all decade stuff now that we're getting close to the decade transition. So, and it's a nice little thing. We can do segments on it and then still do everything else that we do.
Yeah. Well, though, really, I mean, we could have done it at the moment the 2019 finals ended, because this is really now part of the next decade, at least for NBA purposes.
Sure.
Because the 09-10 season is part of this decade, right? So.
Oh, that's an interesting question. The most demoralizing single-game playoff loss for the Rockets in the decade. So Josh Steinkoff brought up 14, 17, 18, and 19.
Single game, though. I mean, the Game 7... in Game 7 in 2018, I don't think they were better than the Warriors. So,
but
I mean, they had their chances, but they weren't better than them. I think Game 6, 2019, Games 5 and 6, frankly, in 2019, those to me are potentially worse. And then, obviously, that loss to the Spurs, too. That was just atrocious.
In the game, Kawhi did not play. Was that?
Yeah, no Kawhi, and they lost by 30 at home in that Game 6. I mean, that was...
Was that 16?
17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of demoralizing, I would go with 17 because the 17 team had a lot of optimism and all that. But like in terms of overall just like disappointment, the 18 Western Conference Finals, like most haunting, it's probably 18.
well, you can avoid your most dispiriting gambling loss
Yes.
of your life with bookies.com. Tell the people about bookies.com, Danny.
Well, I think what's really interesting about it is their idea, the idea behind bookies.com is to give you the edge and knowledge. It's not. It's to make those to make those decisions for yourself. So if you're interested in spreads, if you're interested in money lines, or you're interested in totals or parlays, you can go to their site. And one of the best tools that I was really impressed with is just being able to compare. Because let's say you have a read, you might as well get the best odds you can get, whether that's in terms of payout or maybe. Let's say we're talking the line. Maybe one has a spread that's 2 points different. That's a huge swing potentially for you. So to have all of that in one place is a great reason to go to bookies.com.
Yeah, and they're also going to be using our content. We are not great knowers of gambling. God, this is
we're not gambling. We are not gambling savvy.
Yeah, but apparently we provide a lot of information that can be useful, whether it's on this show or on Dunked On. And so they're actually going to take a look at some of our content through a gambling focused lens for you. So they're going to start doing that in the coming weeks. So go check them out at bookies.com or follow them on Twitter, bookies.com as well.
We're getting a lot of good suggestions for the for things for the decade stuff. So that'll be fun.
Oh yeah. Ben, can you please write some of those down for us?
So we've gotten a couple questions about these two teams and size, and basically like, is it a problem? And I thought there was one interesting one from a little while back about, we've talked about the Clippers issues there. Does that also apply to the Celtics or vice versa? And the answer is yes. I mean, that is the most prominent weakness for both of these teams. What I think makes the Clippers, when they're healthy, their perimeter size a little bit less of an issue is that their best perimeter players are not small. Whereas the Celtics, this isn't nearly as extreme as Isaiah back in the King of the Fourth days, but you can't take Kemba Walker to me off the floor for them. Whereas for the Clippers, you can go with Shamet as the smallest guy on the floor. The center position is still a weakness for both.
Well, and Beverly is tough enough.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not a lot of guys who are going to take advantage of him necessarily.
Yeah. Functional size and strength. I mean, I've been leaning on strength as such an important distinction for a couple of years now. Really, after those Rockets teams, the Rockets teams that gave the Warriors so much trouble, and OKC back in the Megadeth lineup in 2016.
Let's focus back in on this game now. LA Clippers shot chart, 15 of 40 overall from the field. Only 8 shots at the rim, although they did bolster that with some fouls late in the half. 16 shots in the paint. They've made 7 of those overall. 4 of 9 for mid-range. And their three-point shooting, a scalding 4 out of 15. Far beyond what the Celtics have been able to do.
It is, but the Celtics have the lead in no small part because of the restricted area. They are 13 of 19 just in the restricted area. So that means they've had more shots inside 3 feet than the Clippers have had in the entire paint. And you could say, in certain circumstances, that is because the team got fouled. They're even on free throws. 9 free throw attempts for both sides, 5 makes and 6 makes respectively. But then, as you alluded to, one of the big differences, the jump shots, so they're 3 of 7 in the floater range. We don't count those as jump shots. But then when you combine 1 for 5 and 1 for 18, then you have 2 for 23 on jump shots in this game for the Boston Celtics. Yes.
Yeah, Clippers struggling to 13 turnovers, 4 for Lou Williams, 3 for Leonard, and 3 for George. I mean, that's
and some truly awful, and one of the distinctions that I've made over the years is between forced and unforced errors, and it's been a mix, but there have been some truly awful unforced errors in this game for the Clippers. It's passes to no one. And I mean, that's not to denigrate the Celtics defense. They've done a very good job. It's just been that. And though they seemingly all came on one play, the offensive rebound margin did tighten up significantly. It is now 8 to 7 in favor of the Celtics, but it was, I think, like 8 to 2 for a while. Should I do a quick score rundown, or do we want to save that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, let's do that, actually.
Okay, so Philly ended up pulling out the win. They were down double digits in the second half, 109-104 over the Knicks. Wizards beat San Antonio. The Bucks beat the Hawks by 8. The Nets ended up holding off Charlotte 101-91. Miami beat the Cavs by 24. Toronto over Orlando. Chicago over Detroit by 20. Utah winning in Minnesota by 8. And then the light work of the Dallas Mavericks beating the Santa Cruz Warriors 142-94.
Yeah, Draymond Green did not play in that game. Interesting, 3 teams scored over 135 in regulation tonight.
Yeah.
Washington, that win, I mean, that Wagner Bertans front court.
Yeah.
Just killing people. And Brad Beal had a rough first half, and then he went to work. San Antonio on the skids, 538, like projects them to have like 27 wins right now.
Yeah, even before today, they had the lowest win projection in the West on their model.
Yeah, Brooklyn got a much-needed win at home against Charlotte. The centers for Brooklyn combined for 38 points. And Charlotte does not have a strong interior defense. Should we hit a few more questions before we continue?
Oh, okay, that's an interesting one. So somebody commented, I hate when announcers say that's a bad turnover. What is a good turnover? Well, a good turnover is one where it was like a justifiable choice that didn't work out. Like maybe you make a pass to a guy who was open and he mishandles it or something like that. A bad turnover is one where it was unforced and maybe there was a way to succeed. So, the margin was more modest, or a pass that never should have been made.
Right, yeah. I mean, the one where it's like, I'm going to throw this risky pass to someone who like isn't even going to be able to do anything with it if he gets it.
Yeah.
Or if you'd like to know what a bad turnover is, just watch Patrick Beverley throwing it into the back of Mo Harkless earlier. Or I'd also say that anytime a fan catches the ball on the fly, I'm going to go ahead and say that might be a bad turnover.
Yeah. That's an interesting one from Detlef. What are our assessments of the Chase Center after seeing a few games there this year?
Louder than expected.
Yeah.
Better crowd than expected, too, because I think people who were priced out the last few years now can go to a game because nobody cares anymore. The resale market has been good.
Yeah, it is in many ways, the feel is like a kind of generic, nice new building. It has all those amenities. It has nice things for the people who pay a lot of money. But for me, the most notable takeaways, I've gone to a few concerts there actually, is the sightlines are a lot better for the worst seats than they were at Oracle. Granted, Oracle monumentally sucked for that. And the acoustics are really good. Same thing for concerts. And that's what's leading to the crowd stuff. They made a very conscious decision to make it more friendly for sound and noise than for views, outside light, all that kind of stuff. And you do see the rewards of that in terms of the noise, like even for the crowds haven't been, they haven't had much to cheer about, but when they've had moments, it's been pretty good. And some of that is as you said, the diehards having a little bit more window, but part of it is also just the building feeding it back in. And that was something they studied about Oracle and brought over to Chase.
Harvey Leo Lyon has 2 propositions here, one of which I agree with. The number 1 seed choosing who they play.
Yes.
From the bottom 6, 7, and 8 seeds. I would love that. Then he says the Warriors might be healthy at 8. No, I think the Warriors might be healthy at 14.
Yeah, or 12 or something. Also, I don't know if Klay, if this is the way things are going, I don't think they're bringing Klay Thompson back, because why?
I almost think it's more likely that they bring him back now.
For the Paul George, couple games to see how it goes.
Yeah, because it's not...
It's not costing them anything?
And you're not like, oh man, we're going to throw him into this cauldron and he's got to be ready for the playoffs.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, because you can say he's only coming back for 5 games and there's not going to be more.
And if he screws up their rhythm or whatever, or he's not himself, he can kind of just ease back into it, get some confidence.
Well, that's a good one. Should Steph Curry really come back this season? Yeah, it's a broken hand. It's not a circumstance like a hamstring or an ACL or Achilles where the risk of re-injury is particularly high. You make sure that he's 100% recovered, but after that point, yeah, I mean, maybe you don't play him 35 minutes a game, but yeah, you bring him back. Gives the fans something to root for, and it's not like they're going to be great anyway. Remember how badly they got their asses kicked in the beginning of the season.
All right, we're going to be back here in a second. How true is the notion that 3-point field goal percentage doesn't actually correlate with good offense and that 3-point attempts are a better indicator? I mean, the bad Nets teams, the bad Sixers teams, they got up a lot of threes, but those guys couldn't make them. And even though those later Warriors teams didn't get up that many threes and obviously still had unbelievable offenses. So I still think that being able to get a lot of attempts from good shooters is good. And sometimes there's guys who, I don't want to say, the whole, oh, we left this guy specifically open for a reason. There's not a ton of statistical support for that. But, having a bunch of 3-point attempts for a 30% 3-point shooter is not amazing either. So, yeah, it's probably better to, having the guys who can make those shots is going to help you out more than just chucking up a bunch of attempts if you have to choose between one of them. I mean, you can even go back and look at the Spurs last year, right? They took a ton of mid-rangers, but they also led the NBA in 3-point shooting percentage, even if it wasn't that many attempts.
Yeah, that's something I've earmarked for being something I want to talk about in the 1560 this week.
Denver and Houston has gone final 105-95. This is the first time I can remember Denver actually stopping Houston, and it wasn't even really that terrible at 3-point shooting, 32% from Houston. James Harden, they were trapping him a lot to get the ball out of his hands, but he didn't have a ton of assists. He actually shot 50% amazingly from both 2 and from 3, but that'll be an interesting one to go back and watch. Now, with no Eric Gordon, I mean, they're missing a lot of guys. But.
Quick note, per Albert Namad, Clint Capella's defensive rebound percentage is now up to 34.3, and he needs 30% for the bonus.
Oh, baby. All right, we're back here. There's a screen away for Walker. He couldn't handle the pass. Tice not looking for the 3. Same action again. Smart. Closed down by George. Just don't even throw it to the guy that Paul George helped off of because he'll be there by the time the ball comes to him. Here's Beverly. Engages Tice, forcing a mismatch. George, wrong footing Smart. Leonard's 3 wide open in the corner is good. They had to help off the strong side because there was nobody else there. But rare that you'll see Marcus Smart just get blown by that way. He reached at the very moment that George decided to drive to his left. Brown. They screen for Walker twice, trying to get Zubac out on the floor. Now Brown one-on-one against Leonard, getting into the mid-range. He had the shot initially, doesn't take it. Tice with the offensive board, no box out there. Brown has Tice behind him, but Leonard just takes it away. Clippers, not a great fast break team, looking to push it. Harkless, he's got Leonard. Doesn't take the 3, steps in. 2, yes.
Showing those Spurs roots. But that way he got a much cleaner look, and that's exactly when you do that is when you get a much better shot.
Well, and you're as good a shooter as Kawhi. And also, Kawhi's not really comfortable shooting from like a couple steps behind the line. He's got kind of a flat shot. Smart, comfortable shooting from way behind the line, and he's tied it at 45.
Second made 3.
Zubac, elbow action. They're trying to get Kawhi involved, and that's an easy call. Jaylen Brown grabbed the back of Kawhi's jersey.
This has been a veritable offensive bonanza considering how this game started.
Marcus Smart really deserves a ton of credit for how he's improved his shot. I never thought that he could get to this point. Leonard one-on-one. Smart looking to help from up top. Leonard into the lane. Easy hook shot, but he missed it.
Well, and look how far Leonard moved Jaylen Brown there.
Oh, yeah. And Brown is not exactly a weakling himself. Oh, what a strip from Beverly. He's excited about that. But, again, not a ton of alacrity from the Clippers on the fast break. And then Brown gets his hand on, they're going to say that he kicked the ball. I don't believe a kick ball is reviewable.
I don't think that it is.
Yeah, out of bounds is reviewable. Yeah, no, that's a good call there.
Yeah, I mean, he stuck his foot out.
Yeah, his foot's moving at least. George off the screen from Zubac, and he hits. Smart tried to shoot the gap. George read it perfectly and popped back out to the wing.
And much better looking shot than those 2 bad misses at the end of the second quarter.
Tice Tatum not taking the three from that far out into the lane. Good help from Harkless, but he commits the foul across the arm of Tatum. Yeah, the fast break, Danny, is kind of a weakness for this Clippers team.
Yeah, and they don't really have even that kind of a tone setter on the second unit or something like that. Like somebody who can bring it periodically. That would be a nice little wrinkle for them to have.
Walker, they're trying to bring him off screens now rather than pick and roll to get Zubac further out on the floor, but they've had zero success whatsoever.
But the hands of these Clippers, they're going to get some crazy steals and rebounds.
There's a little pace from Beverly, but no advantage gained. George going to just go one-on-one at Smart. Tough matchup. Pulls back.
Ooh! Filthy. Nothing Marcus Smart could have done there.
Yeah, that's not where you'd think George would have the advantage, just facing him up off the dribble, but I was wrong about that. Zubac again out on the floor. Now they get the cut from Tice, and Beverly tried to contest it. Did a good job for a 6-foot point guard, but Tice lays it in.
Another great interior pass off of a run for the Celtics.
Yeah, and that play is made by Tice setting the screen and then rolling quickly to the basket while Zubac was still out on the perimeter. They swing it. Nice pass fake. Harkless will take the corner three. Yes! Mo Harkless.
As Blazers fans throw down their stuff in anger. The no hesitation corner three from Mo Harkless.
Tice looking for Smart. They deny a couple of guys. Now Smart has his man on his back. Hooks up a tough float over Zubac. Man, Smart is draining these floaters. George looking to post up on Walker. Tatum sloughing off. He probably should have just gone and double team there. Instead, George with the jumper not there. Tatum did double late. George tried to fall down with Tatum posting up in transition. Instead, it just gets a wide open three. Love the no call there. That was Mark Davis as the baseline official. He's not going to give Paul George that BS call.
And George, I think he was a little bit more scared of the drive there. He stopped short on the closeout to not concede the open drive, and Tatum just drills the three.
Yeah, Tatum probably at his best as a spot-up three-point shooter, so that's a questionable decision. Leonard, bodied by, oh man, another terrible pass. But good help these last couple plays from Tatum, and the pass from Leonard went quite awry. And that's just an off-target pass. Screen away from Walker, denied by Harkless and forced to go back door. Tatum, tough shot over Beverly.
Beautiful.
But two in a row, and the shot making certainly has picked up here in this third quarter. Leonard crossing over into Tice and Brown. Double pumps, didn't have the explosion to finish it. Celtics 4-on-2. Oh, and Tatum throws it away.
That was two bad turnovers in one because he basically carried the ball as he was passing it to no one.
Yeah, Leonard has not had the explosion finishing at the rim tonight, coming off that knee contusion, and we're going to get a timeout here. And I am going to get some tea.
Okay. Let me look. In 20 years, will we look at the 82-game seasons like we look at the insanely high minutes per game the guys played in the 2000s, or will we still be dealing with it? This is actually something I want to write about. I've advocated for it on the pod and various other places. I'm going to start putting a little bit of weight behind reducing it. But the problem is, when you think of a collective bargaining agreement, the negotiating parties are the players and the owners. And generally speaking, from what I've seen and then from what I can intuit, they're very focused on maximizing the pie as opposed to other concerns. And if they each are perceiving correctly or incorrectly that reducing the number of games would significantly reduce the pie and thus reduce wages and all that kind of stuff, then I think it's going to take a lot. Now, I hope that there can be movement in that direction, but I'm always skeptical of that sort of a thing, even though it's what I want to happen.
I think the window for that is maybe with the next TV deal.
That's what my piece is going to be on.
Especially if ratings continue to drop.
Yeah.
Because then there'll be how do we get these ratings up? Well, maybe it's fewer games. Yeah. And now, I think too much is being made of the falling ratings because frankly, these have just been some absolute horseshit games. Like this first game tonight with the Warriors being bad, Kawhi and PG alternatively missing time, Zion being out as well. There are
Yeah.
some national TV games with the
Also,
Pels.
it's the beginning of the year, and the general like that's not usually when interest is
Yeah.
huge in the NBA. Like, yeah, it's not great if ratings are down, but I'll be more concerned if like they're down in March and April than if they're down now. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody asked the concerts I went to, Chase. I went to Clapton the first week, and then I went to Santana last week. Both were very fun. And it's nice. I mean, I used to be in the ticket business, as we talk about sometimes on the show, and having a mid-sized concert venue in San Francisco is very nice. Like, they're just not having that sort of a thing. I always thought there's money to be made there, and now Lakeman Goober are making that money.
Did they do like the full thing, or was it the 5,000 seat?
They
like,
did the full thing, except everything behind the stage was blacked off. They're not doing
I
those
see.
really small show things until next year. They're working. I think
Oh,
they're
yeah?
still figuring out how it's going to work. It'll be cool though. Even if you reduce the amount of games, players are still going to take load management games anyway. There isn't, from what I understand, a ton of good evidence of that. I mean, especially if there are no back-to-backs. Players don't want to just, like, take games off. That's not how this works. There will still be some, but if the argument is there will be fewer, but they will still exist, that is not an argument that I care too much about.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I am kind of bummed out by, if it's they reduce the number of games, even though I'm still an advocate for it, is that just like season-long records and points.
I just want to make sure somebody mentioned the joke about your mic being muted when you came back.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
All right, we're back here. They switch Smart onto Beverly, then seamless switch behind the play to get Tatum onto Leonard. No advantage there. They try to oop it to Zubac, and Jaylen Brown with a beautiful play. Seamless work by the Celtics. Here's Brown. Tries to pull up for the floater. Excellent defense by Beverly. He scared him with his charge-taking ability. 1 point game. George closed down by Walker. He's going to try and attack with the size advantage now. Into the lane. Help comes too late from Daniel Tice, and I thought that could have been a foul.
Yeah, it looked like a block to me.
Tice came over very late and crashed into the body of George. Here's Walker. He's wide open now. They blow the switch, and good job there with Tatum setting a nice screen on Beverly. It was Harkless who came out there too late.
Yeah, and Harkless got caught on a screening action earlier, just didn't burn the Clippers because the Celtics didn't take the shot.
Yeah, and actually, I take it back. I think that was probably more on Beverly. There really wasn't contact there. Beverly could have gotten through the screen. It wasn't really ever set on him, and Harkless was pointing to him to get out there, and he just decided to go with Tatum instead. So a key mistake giving Boston a 2-point advantage. Lou Williams is back. Thankfully, only one Williams on the floor right now. Lou Williams wasting no time. Oh, what a steal from behind by Walker, but it's going to stay here as he knocks it out of bounds.
And George, I mean, it hasn't been quiet, but he's all the way up to 20 points now, which you can say, oh, that's not a lot in the third quarter, except that this game is still 58-56.
Yeah, he's really the only Clipper who's had it going.
You mean Kawhi, 13 points on 13 shots, 0 free throws attempted.
Yeah, and a bunch of turnovers, too.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Harkless out, JaMychal Green in. You could make the argument that Green fits better with this starting group as a superior shooter than Harkless.
Your halcyon days of one Williams are now over.
Yeah, Grant Williams is in to match up with JaMychal Green. Lou forced to his left. Williams did not step out, and Williams hits the jumper.
Yes.
See what the Celtics have cooking here. Again, both teams making those catches at the free throw line difficult for the center to reverse the ball. Now they get it back. Fake handoff. Tatum. Beverly with the late contest. Tatum misses. Nice rebound by Tice, though. He'll back it out. 10 on the clock. Wanamaker has Tice rolling. Pulls up for the jumper right at the foul line, but it squirts out. Williams going at Wanamaker. Loops a pass. I don't know who the hell that was to. 2-on-2. Tatum getting past Beverly. Oh, Beverly got hit in the face.
They called the push off.
Mark Davis is going to make the call. I have to say, I was watching it pretty closely. I didn't see the contact at first blush. No, he got him.
Yeah, he didn't on the pump fake. He got him after.
Yeah. Now, the fall down. Yeah, I mean, he hit him, but he also accentuated the contact.
So
yeah.
to use a soccer term that's usually used as embellishment.
Well, the best part is he hit his head this way,
and then he flops the other way.
Flops like this. It's great.
But so like the idea of embellishment is you take genuine contact and then you oversell it. But that was a foul, and you do that so that the referee will see it.
Here's Williams into the lane. Nice help from Grant Williams to come over and make that catch difficult. Yeah, watch Beverly. His head goes to the left.
It's fantastic.
He's okay, folks. Williams, left elbow is off. Excellent box out by Tice. Now it's Wanamaker pushing it. Sorry, that's Walker going right in. Oh, rejected from behind by Harold, but he didn't respond to the ball. And Tice with the lay-in.
That was a DeAndre Jordan-esque block in certain ways by Montrezl Harrell. It was still a good play, but it still opened up
It was really JaMychal Green who didn't react at all.
He's the villain.
But JaMychal makes up for it here with the corner three. Back to a 1-point advantage. The quality of play picking up aside from the odd turnover. Ooh, Walker wide open backdoor. How did Tice miss him? Now a three from Tatum instead. Hey, and they add a point to their ledger.
And Tatum has looked a lot more confident on those pull-up threes in this third quarter, taking them and seeking them out.
Yeah, was he 3 for 3 on threes in the quarter now?
I believe he is.
Maybe he might be 3 for 4. More good defense. That was Walker, who has been rejuvenated defensively in Boston. He always had pretty good quickness, as that's just an ugly jab step to shake Beverly by Tatum on that three. Celtics in the zone now. Harold going at Wanamaker. What are they going to get here?
A carry.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was
a rather...
When your crossover is that slow, it is a carry.
Yeah,
and you take like 3 steps.
A rather sweeping arrangement there. Tice playmaking again. Now he'll just jack it. Not there. Tatum went for the board. Let's see if they can take advantage in transition. Again, they're not really pushing the ball. Williams into Wanamaker, and he'll draw the foul. This to me should not be a shooting foul. He draws the contact first and then decides to shoot. Maybe not.
I don't think anybody is better at doing the gather as they initiate the contact. I think Williams saw that 2 steps ahead and is just like, I should be in the shooting motion now.
So Cantor is in, Tice out. They did not give him the shooting foul. I like erring on the side of that not being a shooting foul.
Agreed.
Beverly cut off by Smart. Now Smart switching on to Williams, and that time Smart got the foul. Smart just stepped out a little bit too aggressively,
and his left hand was on his body.
Yeah,
you can't do that against Lou Williams because Lou Williams is going to sell that contact every single time.
Especially late in the clock too. Yeah, you see the left hand gets in there. That's a clear foul.
Yep.
Although that to me might be a non-shooting foul again though. That one might even be because he makes contact with him again before he begins his upward motion. Couple of free throws, tie it at 63. Tatum handing off to Smart. Now Cantor playmaking up top. They want to get it into Tatum. Lack of scoring on the floor right now for the Celtics. They're going to rely on Tatum to create some against smaller players in ISO.
And timeout.
Yay!
I'll mention... which of the things do we want to talk about?
Well, we should probably mention bookies.com.
Yeah. Bookies.com, what I really like about it is I think of it as an information-based thing. So you can go at that from a couple of different directions. They have great odds comparisons, so you can check it out of more than a dozen legal U.S.-based sportsbooks. But then they also have betting analyst Mark Strootman, who gives analysis. So not only do you have the information on where to place your bets, but also on what bets to place.
I was wrong. He's 57% so far
Nice.
this year on his picks, not 58. But he's been around, has been covering the NBA since 2012. Worked for NBC Sports Chicago before this as well. So no matter your play, always check out the NBA odds comparison pages at bookies.com before you bet. Visit them right now to sign up for the best deals available in your state. They have click-throughs to licensed betting operators as well. And follow at Bookies on Twitter, and you will not miss any of the latest sports betting odds and info. And they'll also be using some of our content as well. We are not huge bettors, but apparently our information is of some utility from time to time, and they are going to mine what we're doing on Dunked On and on this cast for something to help out the betting public.
We just produce so much content, some of it unintentionally can go in those directions, which we've gotten as a comment from people before, and so it's excited to have that relationship where they can turn that into something with more knowledge than we have on it. That's an interesting one. Most likely Clipper to be traded before the deadline. I'm thinking the most likely salary filler.
The one who makes the most sense is Harrell because he's going to be a free agent.
And because that's the position they should be upgraded. So it makes sense to try to use him in that trade.
But I'm not sure that just from a sentimental standpoint, they would necessarily want to do that. I mean, not that that stopped them
it might be
before,
Harkless. Just because he's natural salary filler and doesn't have the equity,
also
but I think it
agent.
would be a mistake to make him more movable depending on the circumstance. You could also make an argument that it's Lou Williams, but just because he could have more value to another team. But I think they want to keep him around because if they need to stay healthy and everything else.
Can you do a 5-minute segment during halftime, just looking at bets that you like? I don't think I'm good enough at it that I would want you guys relying on my advice, basically. Like I don't study it enough. There's a lot of really smart people out there who do this stuff. So I would need to learn a lot more about it to really feel like I only do things where I feel like I really know a lot about it and I'm actually providing value. I'm just not sure that I would in terms of specific bets. All right, we're back here. Again, the offensively limited lineups, Clippers in that ATO zone. Tatum did not take the three, should have taken that one. Now he has to step back with a really difficult attempt from the right corner in the face of Magruder. This Smart Lou Williams matchup will be one to watch. Now they're going with Harrell in the post against Cantor. I like Harrell facing up a little bit more. The floater has been off for Harrell tonight. I think he's the third that he's missed now. Here's Tatum going at Williams. He's got setting up a wide open corner three for Grant Williams. I'm not sure Grant Williams has even hit a three yet this year. He had been 0 for the first few games. Definitely shooting it poorly. That was an offensive foul on Harrell, at least if Marcus Smart was asked about it. He did flop a little bit, though. Magruder, late close from Williams. Harrell's on the offensive glass with Cantor out of the play.
Was that a pass?
What? Oh, the one underneath?
Harrell to Green.
No, he got blocked.
Blocked.
High pick and roll. Smart, snaking, and he's got Robinson on his back. First appearance for Justin Robinson, number 13 overall pick in 2018. His career has been a little bit of a struggle so far.
So Grant Williams, he is now 0 for 17 on threes. Is
That's
that the
bad.
number that the Celtics missed, or was that 16? I think they made their 17th tonight.
Yes. Yeah, they're 0 for 16. Tatum, double screen for Smart. Now Tatum going to work against the smaller Magruder. Steps back for another three. Way off that time. Williams fighting on the offensive glass. He's got to jack it up. Way off, though. Here's Williams crossing over on Wanamaker. Right hand.
What a
out
pass.
to Magruder. Three. That's off. Magruder has not had the touch tonight. Wanamaker crossing over into the lane, and he'll draw the contact.
I
It looked
think
like,
a reach on Jermichael, I believe.
yep.
And Wanamaker so far 3 of 6 from the field, including the first made 3 for the Celtics. Neutral in his 19 minutes of action, which is more than I expected. But remember, the Celtics are shorthanded.
Wanamaker spent much time overseas, played in a EuroLeague Final Four, and has been a part of this effective Celtics pipeline. Another guy we thought might be joining that this year was Vincent Poirier, who we have seen almost none of despite the injuries that they've had at center so far. I thought he might be able to contribute, but instead they've gone with Williams. Tice has been good. Cantor too late on the help. Floater for Williams is good. Get Poirier in there. Now Cantor at the top, looking to get Tatum against Magruder again. Gets into the mid-range. Tatum backing up into his man. Now he drives. Left hand.
Beautiful.
Easy floater. And Harrell could not disengage from Cantor. It was a good screen by Cantor in the end. Williams draws Williams in the air. Backdoor. Easy layup. And I mean, Lou Williams, just an absolute craftsman. Grant Williams jumps in the air, terrified of fouling, incredibly relieved that he didn't foul, as Wanamaker hits the 2-for-1 3 going the other way. But then Lou backdoors him as he's happy about fouling. Oh, the Lou for one? Not there that time.
And that might not even be a true Lou for one here, because with a 3-second differential, the Celtics can pretty much just run it down.
Yeah, we'll see how long they can squeeze out of this possession. 10 on the clock. Wanamaker off the Tatum screen. Cantor not looking to shoot it. Probably could have just taken that jumper. Wanamaker on the drive again. Beats Magruder, and he's going to go to the foul line. Wanamaker aggressive here late in the third.
Yeah, he's been a difference maker to kind of keep the Celtics in this and actually building a little bit of a lead.
And you see again the Celtics really going at Lou Williams just about every time. Didn't see a ton of contact there on Wanamaker, did you?
No. A little bit on his back, but nothing super clear.
Wanamaker hits the first. They are going to get a chance for the... What did that end up being? A 4 for 2 for both of these teams?
Something like that. Yeah, and considering they're gonna take it from the baseline, they can actually really use this 4.8 seconds, get a couple dribbles.
And good job by Smart not letting Williams catch it on the run. That uses up a lot of time. He's going to just have to jack from half court. That's all just Marcus Smart as he misses.
He got a pretty good look.
But that's all. I mean, 4.5 seconds, you expect to be able to get it further down floor. But Smart forced him to catch the ball with his momentum going towards the baseline, and he never was able to get back into it.
And none of the Clippers came to half court to get a quick pass. It was just Lou Williams dribbling against Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Leading scorer is actually Jason Tatum after a big third quarter, 21 points in total on the game, 8 of 17 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3. All 4 of those made 3-pointers in the third quarter. Also has 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and only 2 turnovers. He was an important part of the third quarter. Paul George had a nice start to it. He's still at 20. He'll probably be coming back. We'll see how soon in the fourth quarter here. And we get a real crunch time. The Clippers have to come back, but they have the talent to do it.
Yeah, Kawhi, 22 minutes. George is on 23 minutes. I'd expect both of them to finish the game right around 30 minutes or so. George leading the Clippers in scoring, as mentioned. Jermichael Green and Lou Williams off the bench, although Lou actually only 14 points on 14 shooting possessions. He has not scored a 3, and he's got 5 turnovers. So Celtics have done a pretty good job on him.
Question from Capital. Is Marcus Smart's contract a value contract right now? Yes.
Oh, baby.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Danny Ainge did a great job using the restricted free agency process to his advantage. The idea that in restricted free agency, especially that year, it's about falling in love, and nobody really had that for Marcus Smart, and so he kind of dwindled a little bit on the vine, and that led to just getting a team friendly deal. And as salaries exploded, it looks even better, and as he improved to become, at bare minimum an intensely valuable reserve, and at best a useful starter.
Yeah, I mean, he'd start for a lot of teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, so much of it is tied to that 36% 3-point shooting being
Sure.
real. As long as he shoots his number, he's okay. Catch you up on the old shot charts here. For the Clippers, still getting nothing at the rim, 7 of 14. That is a very, very low number of shots at the rim. And the three-pointer starting to go down a little bit more for them, 7 of 14 from mid-range. Their overall efficiency, 93.2 offensive rating, 69 points on 74 possessions. The turnovers also just killing them, 23% of their possessions ending in a turnover.
The Celtics only took 4 shots in the restricted area during that quarter, but they made 3 of those 4, and they got to the line a few times as well. But then the big difference is now, instead of making, I believe it was 2 3-pointers, they're all the way up to 8 of 28 from 3. So they're getting close to like a decent overall night. They were really effective in that quarter, and they have the free throw advantage, 9 of 13. Though it was worth noting, while they were missing all those threes, they were also missing all their mid-rangers. They're 1 for 10 from mid-range in this game.
All right, we're back here into the final quarter. It'd be good to get a little crunch time. We haven't had any crunch time yet, have we? On the show, it's always been these kind of 10-point games.
I think Clippers Bucks got kind of close, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, also noted that the Celtics turning it over a little bit more than usual with 9, but part of their offense that's been in the top 5 has been just not turning it over. And there's another turnover. And with Marcus Smart and Kawhi Leonard, calling an ATO where Kawhi has to expend energy bringing the ball up against Marcus Smart, to me, not amazing. 2 screens for Smart. George is there. No advantage gained. Brown off a screen. His corner 3 is off. Tice with the tip out. Right to Smart. Here's Wanamaker, and they'll reset. 10 to work with to shoot. Wanamaker waves everyone away. He wants Tice involved in the screen. Swings it back to Smart. Corner Brown. Late clock. Has to jack it. That's off. Tice commits the bad over the back foul. He had no chance.
And that was a nice closeout by Jermichael Green to make Jaylen Brown hesitate, and then that meant that he was going to take a bad shot.
Yeah, Brown way off from downtown. He's 1 of 10 and 0 for 8 from 3. This time they give Kawhi a little screen to work with. They're probably going to run that same play. Lou Williams with the screen. Kawhi, tough fader from behind the baseline. What the hell is that?
I have no idea how that shot went in.
Just a ridiculous attempt.
He shot that basically over the corner.
Brown into the lane. 3 guys on him. Floats it. Not there. Rebound. Goes up strong. Stopped from behind by Kawhi. Now they'll push it. 2-on-2. Smart getting back into the play. They've got Paul George wide open left wing 3. That's short. And nice job by Braun taking it away from Harrell on the rebounding action. Smart has Wanamaker wide open. He didn't want it. Instead, they get it back to Smart. Deep left wing 3 is off. Tice on the offensive glass again. Brown, his 3. Can he finally make one? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown now 2 for 13 in this game. That was his first made 3.
Tice working the offensive glass against Harrell. Here's Williams. That's just cash money right there. Snaking the pick and roll beautifully against the combination of Wanamaker and Tice. Backdoor Wanamaker not there. Instead, they hand off. Kawhi gets a hand in. Oh, he is just hounding Jaylen Brown. Gets past him finally, but he's going to knock it away from behind. Brown just not ready. Kawhi bedeviling him right now. And that's a clear foul on Tice, his second foul of the quarter.
And something I harp on this a lot when we do the NBA cast. early fouls in the fourth quarter can end up really haunting a team because then you can get a couple easy points and really swing the momentum.
Williams is going to replace Tice. This is his first action in the
second half, I believe.
Of the second half, yeah.
I think they went straight from Tice to Canner in the first, and then third. Sorry.
Here's Lou Williams, creates space, way off. He's not had the touch from outside, over 4-on-3. They try to post up Rob Williams in transition. Paul George not interested in letting that happen. Here's Wanamaker with the 3. That was good action between he and Smart, but couldn't convert. Williams defended well by Wanamaker. No advantage gained on the pick and roll. George putting Smart in the mix. Goes into Rob Williams. Tries to draw the foul. Can't. Williams tips it out, but right to Green. Swing it to Leonard. His right wing 3 is off. George on the offensive glass, and it'll go to the Celtics.
And so other than that play where Zubac rebounded it 3 times, it's been a pretty significant offensive glass advantage for the Celtics, 15-10 right now. And it really is functionally higher than that.
They are destroying them in the possession game. Brown screens for Smart. Nothing happening there. Now they bring him off the screen. Good switch out by JaMychal Green. Brown head down. Tries to find the pass. Another turnover goes awry as Williams can't control it. And what are they going to get here?
I don't know.
Travel? I couldn't see the referee who made the call on the screen.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that's another example. We talked about NBA ratings. New Orleans at Phoenix being a TNT game. Yeah, the Suns are way better than we thought, but, I mean, with Zion not there, Ayton not there, that hurts.
Yeah. They also do try to get some of these games out of the way. I mean, they had, like, Washington-Cleveland in the first, on a Friday night. They do have to show
bringing back the
once,
ghost
right?
of Deshaun Stevenson. And
Yeah, now they had some great matchups in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
With LeBron going against, like, Gilbert Arenas. So Clippers against another Celtics bench unit, not really able to make any headway. Wanamaker as Williams just falls down. Swing it to Walker. He'll take the 3 over Williams, and it's an 8-point Celtic lead.
Remember when Boston couldn't make a 3?
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, they're getting closer to 30% for the game, and considering they were 0 for 16, that's pretty impressive. Well, yeah, okay, so they're now at so they were 0 for 16, then they're 10 for 18 since then.
Yeah. Big numbers. Let's do some questions.
Yep.
And well, actually, first, let's tell people about patreon.com/Duncan LaRue.
Yeah, we're going to do a subscriber-only mailbag in the next few days. We also do salary cap sheets and whatever else we can think of. It's a way to support all of our endeavors. That's the way we've always talked about it, and we really do appreciate it. Also mention Dunked On tonight. We'll have not only analysis of today's games, but also we did some more mailbag questions because we got some great ones for the last one. We had so many that we had another batch to do.
Have I ever played basketball? Yeah, I'm age 39. I can still dunk, actually. We'll see whether I get one at age 40 or not. That's been my goal for a while. I can't. I used to, I played high school. I used to play all the time in college and law school, just recreationally. But I tore up my knee about 8 years ago, and it's kind of been pretty dicey about when I can play. So I'm gonna try to make like one more effort to become a regular pickup player again. But it's if you want to see my handiwork, at least during the times when I was not too exhausted to run into the screen, I did play in the media game.
Yeah, and you can listen to my commentary of Nate playing basketball in the media game.
How many times did you mention my questionable cardiovascular fitness?
I think only once.
You're very kind. But yeah, I mean, that was, although the format was brutal, it was,
oh God,
it was 15 straight minutes with only one free throw for getting fouled and no subs.
Yeah, because they had collective subs basically and then the collective subs were running hard too. I mean, because people were getting hurt or they were just tired, and so they were getting them.
Is Boston the favorite in this game at this point? Oh yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
8 point lead.
Yeah.
I mean, just about.
They were the favorites at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, just about any team with an 8 point lead on even on the road is probably going to be a favorite, even with a pretty big talent disparity, and at least especially with Kawhi and George both trying to find their rhythm together. The Celtics definitely have the continuity advantage right now.
That's a good one we can do. Is your Periscope feed synced with the national broadcast? We show the camera so that you can kind of square it up. If we are ahead of your feed, that's most common for streamers. The best thing to use is YouTube because YouTube has a functional pause button. If you are ahead of us, hopefully the way that you can watch the game has some sort of pause functionality, or because then you can do it. Whether that's a DVR function, that would be the best way to do it. Those are harder now. It used to be that those were the easier problems, but now with YouTube's pause button, it's better. And you can find all of the links to the various ways you can watch on both of our Twitter feeds.
Yep, at Nate Duncan NBA or at Danny LaRue. Like some kind of delay here as we're looking to get going again. Zubac is back. I still think it seems like the Clippers have played some of their best ball with him in the game. Can you see a Celtic besides Kemba being an all-star this year? Gordon Hayward probably would have been on track. But I mean, the East is pretty weak, especially if they're exceeding expectation. Do you imagine the coaches will find a way to get someone else on there?
Yeah.
Now, will it be the right Celtic? That's a tough call. But I don't know who the right Celtic is going to be.
I think it'll take some time to sort that out. Who it would be if it's not Gordon Hayward, and it looks like it won't be.
Why are the Celtics a better team than people expected?
Oh, we talked about it on Dunked On in the 15-60 fair amount.
Yeah, we did. But, I mean, obviously that we didn't think the defense would be this good. And I didn't think that they were going to be this much better at getting to the rim. I think just and they've gotten more out of Tice than expected, more out of Hayward. I mean, you knew it was possible for some of these wings to take a step forward, Braun and Hayward, but they haven't necessarily done that yet in recent times. So, but yeah, also I think Cantor not playing originally. Also, I think people just all of a sudden forgot that Brad Stevens is a good coach because he didn't have his greatest performance last year, but had a tough job. Oh man, what's going on here? Let's see if Twitter can tell us.
Nope, don't think so. Let's see if there are any more questions. How would you feel about making flopping a violation similar to how they punish dives in soccer? It's an interesting idea, especially because there are 6 fouls in the NBA basketball, and there are only 2 yellow cards in soccer before an elimination. So even if it was a mistaken one, I think that wouldn't be as catastrophic. So yeah, I think if it's egregious enough, they could give a foul for it. I'm on board with that. But it is really hard to see in live action. Now, if you could add, which I support, a 4th official who's watching the TV feed and could dole out those punishments, would be pretty awesome. And it would probably be more for straight-up flops. I think there would be fewer of them than people think, because to me, an embellishment is something fundamentally different. Like, for example, the Pat Bev one was funny, but there was an actual foul there, so that wouldn't be anything.
All right, thumbs up from Mark Davis. Let's play ball. It's never a good thing when he's talking to someone who's on the phone somewhere. All right, no, I guess we're not done. Are they trying to figure out, like, how many fouls Tice has? Maybe that's what it is. He's listed as having 5.
Oh, God, are they arguing again?
Inbound it. Ugh, that was really boring.
Ben, oh, we're back. Hey, look at that. There's basketball on the court.
All right, who are these teams again? It's Kawhi, right-hand drive, stopped by the combination of Williams and Williams.
And
but
that's
get a
Clippers
goal
ball.
end.
No, what happened was
Oh, it hit the bottom of the
Kemba
backboard.
hit the ball, and it hit the bottom of the backboard.
Well, or the bottom of the stanchion, more accurately.
Yeah.
The backboard would still be in bounds.
Correct.
Kawhi, guarded by Jaylen Brown, wants to back down. Knocked away again, but a foul is called. They're going to say that the opposite hand of Brown pulled Kawhi in. Brown wanting to get a little revenge on Kawhi, who has been taking his lunch money here in the second half. Get it into Leonard. Williams stepping out to double team. Leonard gets around him. Now he has the advantage. That sets up the corner jump for Harkless. Not there. What a rebound from Williams.
His hands were awesome on
And
that.
Celtics not looking to run at all. They want to run up their ATO. Do you think Brad Stevens had enough time to draw something up?
Hope so.
Swing it to Walker off the screen. Not there. They're trying to get Walker working off the ball more, running the old Isaiah Thomas package of plays because the high pick and roll worked poorly in the first half. Here's Williams as Wanamaker lost sight of him, and it'll take a 3-point dagger in exchange.
And I'm hoping that this game gets close because I also want to see who Doc Rivers plays in crunch time now that he has Kawhi and PG back.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who plays center for them in particular. Rob Williams has given them something, though. Here's a drive by Wanamaker, and Pat Beverly. Wanamaker gave him the old head snap a couple of times, and the second time drew the foul. A little smile from the KG EuroLeague vet that time.
I wonder if those guys. Does the timing work that those guys could have played in Europe against each other?
I don't think so. Maybe actually it is possible. I can't remember exactly when Beverly came over.
Someone in the comments might have it.
Wanamaker has Lou Williams. It's a high screen roll with Rob Williams. Williams on the jumper from just outside the charge circle. He missed a man wide open in the corner, but doesn't matter when you make the shot. Williams finds Zubac. Oh, great help from Wanamaker. Now Walker's ahead of the field, and he's going to lay this in easily. Kawhi Leonard did not try to stop him.
Underrated, good pass by Robert Williams there to not screw up getting it to Kemba Walker without him losing speed. Like, that's a pass that big men screw up all the time.
Well, so it looks like something happened here, and that point doesn't count.
Did they do a
Oh,
clear
they're going
path?
to see if there's a clear path? Oh, my God. Another fucking review?
Oh,
All
God.
right. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll answer your question.
They did, by the way, take away a foul on Tice, in case you were wondering what that internal delay last time was.
Is there any way the Celtics beat the Bucks in the playoffs, no injuries? I mean, I think that, bad shooting could be enough for the Bucks to make that series close. I think Milwaukee at this point would be serious talent advantages. He has serious talent advantage. You said no injuries. But remember, Boston has a significant capacity to improve because they have that Memphis pick. We don't know whether that's going to convey this year or next year. That is a valuable asset. Boston also, they don't have a ton of filler salary, but in some ways that can help make them better because they have a ton of players who would be desirable. So they could put together a nice package to fill the gaps that they have. So conceivable way, yes. Do I expect it? No. Oh, Josh Steinkoff has it. Beverly was in Russia when Wanamaker was in Italy. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And we are back. I will channel Nate for a brief second. Wanamaker trying to drive on Lou Williams. He should be able to do that, but he doesn't. Pass it to Kemba. Guarded by Harkless. That's something I'm going to talk about on Dunked On today. Kemba trying to drive, and an interesting pass, but I think they're going to call a foul here on the pass. Boston probably getting close to the bonus here after the Tice fouls.
Man, I can't believe I actually see. This is why you shouldn't trust our betting advice. I took the under on the time of that review. Leonard takes a seat again. George is back. Jaylen Brown trying to post up, and said it's Walker coming off the screen from behind, and Harkless got picked off.
That's the
Williams.
third time Harkless has gotten worked on a screen in this third.
Yeah, and Harrell did not step up. Robert Williams has set some nice screens. He obliterated Mo Harkless. And it's a 10-point game, and this is danger time for the Clippers here. They've scored a mere 76 points.
Amusing question from Bryce Roaring. What should the Blazers' defensive plan be tomorrow in Milwaukee? Prayer. I mean, because they have no one to guard Giannis. That's what the question was.
I mean, maybe play some zone.
Yeah.
Camp Whiteside out under the basket.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
They could have Melo guard Giannis. He's might be in the starting lineup again.
Yeah. So somebody asked for a reasonable move for the Celtics to do. Well, I've been harping on Miles Turner as a potential guy for the Clippers, but he would also be a wonderful fit with the Celtics. I think he's better with the Clippers, just with some of the personnel and just with some of the issues. But I mean, he would be a really good fit there too. And I think they have both teams have the resources to make that kind of a deal if Pritchard is willing to listen. And my guess is that he is. Anybody else you can think of? I mean, Marc Gasol's an obvious one. For the Celtics, it's a little bit more pressing to have a center who can protect the paint because of Joel Embiid. Like, that is a back to the basket force on a team that they could very well face in the playoffs.
You know, I was thinking that maybe Derek Favors could be one, but he's been injured so far this year, and they've gotten more out of Zubac than maybe would have been expected so far.
Favors might be interesting for either one of those teams because of the bird rights issue. So if they acquire Favors, either one of these teams, then they're both probably going to be over the cap. You can retain him without having to really deal with any shenanigans.
I don't think they at least the Clippers have enough firepower to get Turner. Especially since things seem to be going well so far.
I mean,
they're going to want to see
they
what
have.
it looks
They
like.
have their own first. I mean, they'd have to give up something better. I don't think the first would be the best asset in the deal. They would have to, maybe they throw in Shamet. Maybe they throw in, something along those lines. Also, unfortunate, I would argue that both Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams would not be desirable for the Pacers in particular because they kind of have guys to do those things.
Let's see here. Does Kemba's ability to shoot out of the pick and roll give the Celtics a shot against the Bucks? Yeah, I mean, he always had big games against them for Charlotte. He was actually the one guy that I think they worried about taking them out of their base scheme. Now, we might see them switch more. We saw them do that in both playoff series.
Or it becomes Eric Bledsoe's purpose in life to fight through screens.
Yeah. All right, we're back here. Wanamaker, same play again for. Oh, that's got to just be the. Yeah, that's the replay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, at least I recognized it was the same play. That's the danger of looking at Twitter and you look up, it's back on. George into the lane, nice help off of Beverly. That leaves the three open though, and he'll hit that. Didn't get a second rotation. As the help took away the George drive, but he makes the right pass.
And so this is about 12 possessions for each side left. Oh, there we go. Steal, Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, it takes it away from Wanamaker. This has been a fun guard battle between those two guys. And now Beverly, I think, got fouled out on the floor. Wanamaker saying, hey, I got fouled last time, and no avail.
So what I was getting to is that there's about 12 possessions each way. It was a 10-point lead, now down to 7. So, but the Clippers still need to move quickly here because time's going to start running faster than they think.
Yeah, we'll see when Kawhi is going to come back to complete their unit. Here's Harrell on the drive, backside, nobody home. on that one. Grant Williams actually a little bit late on the help that time. They're trying to get Walker off a screen again. Oh, deflected by Harrell. He had Williams open, but the pass is behind George and will stay here.
A nice job by Tatum fighting for that enough to force it out of bounds, because if Paul George had just been able to pull, that would have been a pretty clean three.
Looks like it was indeed off of Tatum from what we can tell there.
Good, they're not challenging it.
Here's a three from George off a Harrell screen. Oh, Beverly, Chicago punker offensive rebound. Here's the three from Williams. Way short, though. And the Celtics finally control.
And it's a little bit of off-ball stuff. I think Montrezl Harrell, yeah, he pretty much held Marcus Smart there in transition. That's a pretty easy foul, but they're not in the bonus yet.
Yeah, Williams will sit down. He gave good minutes for Boston. Clippers knocking 5 points off the lead with the Harrell dunk and the Beverly three. So Celtics are going to have to keep scoring here. Into the post, it's Grant Williams. This has got to be some screening action. They just wanted to go at Lou Williams. Instead, the post, and they find Smart for the airballed three. They double team to take it out of Williams' hands in the post against Lou Williams. Now going to his left, he gets the open look. Yes! 8-0 run. Timeout Celtics.
And now we're going to find out what each of these teams wants to go with in their closing five. I mean, it's a 2-point game with 4:39 to go.
Yeah, interesting decision to go to Grant Williams in the post against Lou Williams. Grant Williams is an excellent post player in college. A lot of times you'll see guys of his ilk, those skills will kind of atrophy when you get in the NBA, but it was enough that they got a double team, but the airballed three-pointer leads to another three for the Celtics.
From LTA, are the Warriors really that bad? Yes.
That's right. Well, I mean, they only had 8 players available tonight, too.
Yeah.
And what, like 4 of them are centers?
Something like that.
3 of them are centers?
That's an interesting one. From npinto628. At this point, are the Lakers or Clippers more likely to win the championship?
I think I'd still go with the Clippers.
I would too. I mean, they're the injury stuff that they've had. Those are everything we know so far. Those will be resolved. They have a higher capacity to get better. We still haven't really seen them at full strength. And to me, I like the theory of the Clippers more than the theory of the Lakers. The Lakers have been better than I anticipated. Their defense has been fantastic. So yeah, I think that it is a closer case than it was before, but I'm still going with my original interpretation.
And we're back. 8-0 run across only 3 possessions for the Clippers. Smart gets Williams on his back into the lane, and that's the same thing that they did earlier, Cantor setting the screen, where once Smart gets the guy on his back, Tice gets inside position on Harrell. He can't help at the rim, and Smart just rolled right into the basket. Here's Kawhi guarded by Smart. No real advantage gained on all that dummy action, but they'll take the three. Kawhi way short off the dribble that time. Throw it ahead. Smart can't quite run it down for the layup. Instead, he finds Brown for the dunk. Clippers did not get back.
Well, and what happened was both Harrell and Paul George ball watched, and then that allowed Jaylen Brown to cut in behind both of them. Harrell is the one at fault there.
Forcing George away from the screen to double team. Harrell, pass fake. That's the right move. Lou Williams up top, but he can't get it. Beverly, keeping it alive twice, goes down. Now it's a 5-on-4. Again, not a huge fast break team for the Celtics. They're trying to get in the post. Oh, and Lou Williams, that is just poor post play by Jason Tatum. You got to seal the guy. Here's Leonard. Oh!
On Tice's head. Wow.
He may not have a head anymore.
Oh, man.
Wow. That came out of nowhere. Now Celtics will try to answer. Same pick and roll again. They rescreen at the foul line. Beverly comes over to help just a little late, and Smart keeping the Clippers at bay for the moment. Harrell, now George off the screen, engages Tice into the lane, floats it up, way off, but this is going to be, offensive foul?
I think Paul George is learning how they're calling that, how they called that the first part
or
of the
no,
season.
are they putting it on Tice? I can't tell what the call is here.
I mean, it should be on Paul
Yeah,
George.
great call. Great call. Tice did a great job of showing his hands. That is they're going to call this on Tice?
They should challenge it.
I think they might be. But it's tough to do it now. I think they might be because you only have 2 timeouts left under 3 minutes. And so now you're going in with only 1 timeout. But, I mean, this is... Yeah, the only contact there takes place between George's forearm and Tice's stomach, and George then pushes off. I think that should be an offensive foul. And that could be that's the exact type of play that you want to challenge because it takes it from 2 free throws to a turnover.
And it takes a foul off the board for Daniel Tice. It would be, I believe that would be his 5th.
Yeah, he tried to foul Kawhi Leonard. He did not succeed.
Oh, good Lord.
Whew. That's the I'm going to see if I can see the replay of that. That was just ridiculous. Yeah, Smart just wasn't ready, and he came up and just put it on Tice's head. He's so strong, too, that if he gets above you, it's just useless at that point. His arms are so long, his hands are so big that it's really hard to get a hand on those dunks.
A question from Macarena 320. Should the Thunder try and trade Dennis Schroeder? This is actually something we get at.
Hey, they should trade him.
Yeah. Well, they should listen, but I talked about this a little bit on the Dunked On that'll come out tonight regarding Andrew Wiggins and regarding I'm trying to remember Chris Paul. The idea that there needs to be a clear benefit for doing so. And OKC, their books are actually relatively clean now that they traded almost all their good players. So they, just dumping him to dump his salary doesn't really make much sense unless another team just overvalues him like Sam Presti did in the first place.
All right, we're back here seeing some more replays of this. I think what the referee sees here is that when Tice gets shoved back to maintain his balance, his arm went forward.
They upheld it. Oof.
That's terrible. Where is the foul? Maybe, he gets shoved backwards. Oh, here we finally get to see a replay of that dunk. He gets shoved backwards. Maybe then his left arm comes into contact with George because he's trying to maintain his balance after getting shoved backwards. How could that possibly be upheld? I don't understand what on earth they saw there. The only point of contact is George's forearm to Tice's stomach. And that's supposed to be a point of education this year. Good pressure from George makes the pass to Walker difficult. Get it back to Smart. Behind the back on George. Oh, he tried to oop it, and it gets knocked in. It gets knocked in by Harrell.
Line drive in the box score.
Hey, that's karma making up for that non-overturned challenge. Nice skip pass to Beverly with the corner 3. Kemba Walker wondering what's going on, but that's just an incredible pass with the size of George to be double teamed on the right wing and find the opposite corner. You can't do anything about that because Walker has to step in on the roll man. Pre-switch this one to avoid Lou Williams being involved. Now they go after him again. Walker going to take him one-on-one. Takes the step back to his right. That's off. Rebound Beverly. Ahead to George. George pushing against Smart. Has to pick up a dribble. Nice pass underneath. Harrell with the finish. And Clippers within 2. Minute 32 remaining. Are they going to go after Williams again?
And remember, Boston only has 1 timeout.
Smart eludes George for a moment. Now tries to take him. George just lets him go. Tip. Tice is no good. Man, that was lucky. Dodged a bullet there. Lou Williams going to look to attack Tatum in transition. Crosses over to his left. Engages Tice. Good defense. Underneath to Beverly. Nowhere to go. It's George's 3 over Brown. That's off. Tice with the tip and Boston survives the possession barely. These guys have got to be tired now. We've gone a while without a stoppage, both holding on to their remaining timeouts. Yeah, you can see the exhaustion. They're going to run the time down here, trying to get Tatum to screen. Now it's Walker, double team, crosses over on George. He's got the pass out to Smart. His three over Williams is off. It's Walker with the tip, but he couldn't get it to go. He didn't know where he was. Now they throw it ahead. Williams, his three to take the lead. Good.
And Boston might have benefited there from a screwed up. Are they just running with this?
Yeah, they're just going to go. They don't want to take the last time out. Smart move. Is that Walker against Williams? Looked like Williams fouled him. No call. And now they have to foul Lou Williams with 20.7 left. What a disaster for the Celtics of the last 3 minutes.
So to drop a pin, because we'll talk about this on Dunked On, I think the Clippers there benefited from an incorrect 24-second violation call, where I think the missed
or non-call.
Non-call. I think it should have been as they interpreted it should have been a dead ball, and that's how they got the open three.
Lou Williams with the key defensive stop after the key three-pointer to put him up. They're not out yet though. First free throw is good from Williams, who's an ice-cold clutch free throw shooter. Boston with one timeout left. I'm guessing they're probably not going to use it here. That gives them the potential option of a two. No, I think they are going to use it now because Cantor is coming in. That's for rebounding. I think they're going to take it now.
Yeah, and especially Kemba Walker's off the floor. So yeah, they're definitely calling a timeout here.
3-point game. Boston led this 94-87. Was that inside of 2 minutes? Yeah, 2:21 left after that Smart floater. Beverly hit the three on that amazing assist from George. Then Walker had the three over Williams. That missed. Harrell had that nice finish inside off another beautiful George assist. They had a chance for a tip in a couple of times. That didn't work. George with the missed three. So they actually got a stop in that period. A couple of missed tips from the Celtics. And then you're right. I think that Walker, I don't know when exactly the shot clock expired or whether his
shot might have tapped rim.
Yeah. Whether his tipped the rim or not, but then they threw it ahead to Lou Williams, who had leaked out.
I'd love it if they showed that, but that's not the type of play they ever show on a replay.
Yeah, last 2 minute report. We have something to say about that.
Yeah, so they showed the Lou Williams three, but they didn't show the what led to it.
Yeah. Yeah, Williams now 27 points, 10 of 20. He's got it going here in the second half, and he missed his first 4 threes, 3 of 4 on his last 4.
Yeah, and 13 points in the fourth quarter, as the broadcast brought up.
So this almost certainly is going to be trying for a three-pointer. We'll see whether they go into switch everything mode. Lou Williams is out. I think that might have been a reason to not take that time out there. Tatum looking to create on George, knocks him down, pulls up for the three.
Oh!
Yes! What a play by Jason Tatum. He broke the ankles of Paul George, and there's some just karma as well, as Tatum perhaps with a push-off on George. No call was made, and the three ties it at 97. Clippers still with the timeout remaining even now.
Has Doc Rivers used this challenge?
But you can't use it in that situation.
Oh, because there's no foul called.
Yeah, the whistle has to have been blown. Yeah, let's see if we can watch the off arm of Tatum here. I mean, this is Paul George giving up threes at the end of the game lately. Yeah, it looks like there certainly was contact right under the rib cage of George with that left arm of Tatum. But, yeah, he gives him a nice little club. But Tatum did it in a spot where his body was between Mark Davis. Yeah, we'll see it here. I mean, that's pretty minimal contact, and George made the decision to flop. Not a good one there.
Yeah, I think George was also off balance at that moment, which made and he stepped on Tatum's foot.
Ah, that's what it was. Yeah, I mean, do you think that should have been called?
Yeah, But I think as it's called now, I don't think that's a call. Like, like to me in the moral arc of the offensive universe, that would be an offensive foul. But as it's called right now, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he also just stepped on his foot too. That's maybe why he fell.
Yeah, and that's why he fell over. And so you don't want to reward Paul George for that. It's just bad luck.
All right, Williams is back. Let's see where they're going to go. They obviously need to run the time down with it tied. 13.1 remaining. I think this is going to be the Kawhi. Yeah, I think it is. Lou Williams going to try and screen for him. 8 seconds left. Now Lou just gets out of there. Kawhi's going to take it himself against Smart. Between his legs. Steps back. His three. Woo! Just barely rims out.
Well,
I would have tried to get into better position.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi Leonard is the single best player in the NBA at getting to a spot, and he just settled for a pull-up three there.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not as good at the pull-up three as he is with the two, and no advantage to shooting a three when the game is tied. I mean, you do have a little easier job of running the time down. That was still mighty close, though. So, all right, overtime. Free basketball. Presented by Bookies.com.
Quick check of the foul circumstance. Daniel Tice has 5. Jaylen Brown has 5. Nobody else has more than 3. So those are the 2 guys to watch for this. And I would expect both of those guys to be on the floor. Might as well ride them until they're out.
Yeah.
Even though Jaylen Brown is 3 of 14 in this game and 1 of 8 from 3. He's still one of their 5 best players.
Yeah, and for the Clippers, they've gone with Beverly, Lou Williams, Harrell, George, and Leonard most of the way, other than offense-defense substitutions. And Lou, frankly, has been... I like Lou as an offensive option maybe more than Kawhi or George, because Boston is one of the few teams that actually has the wing defenders to match up with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So going in pick and roll, you know that you can get 2 on the ball with Tice, and then you can swing the ball and Leonard or George can attack. Yeah, that pick and roll with Lou Williams, that Boston's been bringing the big all the way up to the point of attack on that play. Now, maybe you say you want to run that pick and roll initially with someone bigger so they can pass out of the trap, but Lou has been the guy so far tonight. Let's see how close this came. Yeah, wow. Man, Kawhi Leonard just never gets the luck in those rimming in end-of-game shots. So this is perhaps not what the Clippers had in mind in terms of minutes for Kawhi tonight.
Yeah, he's already at 33.
But hey, it's on national TV. You know, they respect that.
Yeah, and it's also Lou Williams, 32 regulation minutes again coming off the bench.
Tice and Harrell, I'd put Harrell at the advantage on this tip, and he does in fact win it with the 7'4" wingspan, even though he stands only about 6'5". Lou tries to go through 2 guys. That was a bad decision. Tatum pushing it. He's being ridden by Harrell, almost goes out of bounds, throws it in, and George somehow didn't get that steal. He is just a shark. Now Boston will get into their ATO. Tatum off the little Iverson cut, going at Kawhi. Eludes him. Jumper. Yes. Jason Tatum has had the touch tonight. He's been the best offensive player for the Celtics. Here's Kawhi guarded by Smart. Hounded. Double teamed. Couldn't get it out to attack, and now they have no advantage. George going to go at Brown. Pulls up over him. Oh, the Chicago point guard offensive rebound, Danny. And that's the 3 from Paul George. Jaylen Brown had run down to the other end to try and leak out. And a great offensive rebound by Beverly. He just jumped right over Kemba Walker, who did not box out.
And now Kawhi is the primary defender on Kemba. But they're switching.
Yeah, they'll switch that, trying to involve Lou Williams. They can't. They got Tatum on Williams. They threw it the wrong place. They switch out of it. That was terrible offense by Boston to not just throw it to Tatum. But Walker is going to take the charge here. No, they get a blocking foul.
And they don't have a challenge.
sure looked like he was there, but he was not.
No, he was moving. That's the correct call.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have the perspective on that sideline camera, but that shows that it's the right call. But no harm there in terms of free throws. George off the pin down. Brown is right there on his back. Patience. Harrell not a threat to shoot from three. They hand it back off. George, Euros. Beverly's corner three. Yes,
and
twice. Yeah,
and Kemba Walker there did something that bothers me of the help without helping. He got he got into a spot where he wasn't doing anything to affect it and left his guy wide open.
Yeah, and George, another great pass to take advantage of that. Here's Smart with the Clippers on a 4-point advantage. Walker pulls up three. No, they're going to get. What is this? Technical foul. Brad Stevens.
Wow.
Complaining about the Kemba Walker block, I would assume. The typically mild-mannered Brad Stevens. But that's not the time for the technical. I would imagine he must have said a magic word to get a call in live action. His team had the ball.
It's always very hard to assess those from our sort of standpoint, but the referees usually, there's something.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's a clear blocking foul when you show that overhead angle. That'll usually show it. And now Harrell runs through. Now we're going to have a review to see whether the ball is in bounds or not. Probably.
It was not. That was before the inbound. That should be that should come back the other way.
I think once he's released the ball, though.
He hadn't released the ball.
Oh wow, okay, then that's pretty.
It was early. It was before Tatum had released the ball.
Yeah, they're showing these George passes to Beverly in the corner here. And I don't know if this is a timeout or what, but let's talk some questions here real quick. What team could use Marcus Morris the most at the deadline?
Not the Knicks.
I mean, he seems like more of a buyout candidate. He's making enough at $15 million that a trade might not be the best option. Or maybe it could be the type of thing where the Knicks take on salary past this year.
I mean, my first thought is actually the Sixers.
That's a clear. You're right. It's gonna be a clear one shot.
Yeah.
And in fact, Walker will take it. So this will make up for the technical free throw.
Sort of. I mean, they still could have gotten that. And now Boston, but they do get possession again. So.
Smart looking for
another
wide
back
open
door.
Underneath, and he gets it. Back screen there. Jaylen Brown, no help at all from Lou Williams. Beautiful setup there to take advantage of Lou Williams not helping on the back screen. Now Lou going at Tatum. They swing it to Kawhi. Over Smart. Short. He's been short on a lot of these. Tice outletting. Harrell's behind the play. Oh, man. Leonard almost had the steal. Smart.
If that had gone in.
Obvious shooting foul there, Danny.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like the ref emphatically pointing to the floor like, we are not giving you a shooting foul on that Marcus Smart.
Pretty obvious foul, though.
Yeah.
Do you think they give him too many fouls in overtime before you're in the bonus?
Yes. Yeah, it's 4? What is it? But it does seem like too many. Lou Williams going for a low chance steal.
Yeah, that could have given Boston the lead, but Smart couldn't get it. Leonard, corner, it's Beverly, but he doesn't want to take it, and that's a foul on Tatum. He can't believe it. He did appear to run through the body of Leonard. He's saying he got there at the same time. It's a loose ball.
Or that he got ball first, and then it was...
Let's see if we can catch it here. I mean, he hits the ball first and then runs into Leonard. I mean, I do think Leonard had inside position on him, though. George, nice job by Braun getting through the screen. They double team. Harrell, cut down by Walker. Here's Leonard, back to goal. Smart double teams. That leaves Beverly open. Swing it up top to Lou Williams. He goes to his left over Smart. Not there. and we're going to have a shot clock violation. No call. Well, at least they're consistent on that, Danny.
Well, that shot hit the rim.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's the steal by Beverly. Leonard on the floor. Smart on the floor. Now it's George. He loses it. Smart on the floor, and I think they're going to give a foul.
They're a kick ball. What? What the hell did they just call?
They called a kick ball, and it's going to be Boston ball. George can't believe it. I can't say that I saw a kick ball, but Mark Davis quite emphatic about it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. He did kick the ball. I mean, that's a loose ball, though. That's kind of...
Yeah.
Oh, my God, says George. Interesting call there.
Yeah. I don't think, like, especially in a loose ball, or you could argue the Clippers last possessed it.
Yeah, I mean, he's running in that direction. Like, he has
but
no
also,
control over that.
But also, an offensive team, I don't think an offensive team can do a kickball. But Boston.
Well, I mean, the ball's loose at that point.
Yeah, I guess.
Backstream by Walker for Tatum again. They miscommunicate. Harrell steps out, though, but that leaves Tatum open for the three. Oh, man. On the offensive glass, Smart and Beverly fighting. And we'll have a review here, perhaps. Everyone calling for it.
So get your questions in now, because we probably have a minute and a half.
Should you get an extra foul for overtime? So in terms of personal fouls, I like it for double overtime.
Yeah, I'm fine with it for double overtime. I'd also be fine with it for single overtime. I hate foul outs. I just, it's not that I'd be fine with it either way. Okay, let's see what happened here.
Lou Williams, actually. It was not Beverly. No, can't tell from that angle whether it hits Williams' left hand.
My instinct is that it did.
Yeah. And this could even have been Lou Williams who provided the impetus before that, too. Yeah, it looks like... I mean, of course, it takes that convincing evidence to overturn. Clear and conclusive? Is that the standard?
Clear and conclusive, it is.
All right. So I don't know if that's clear and conclusive, and we may not have a side angle view that can tell us if that hit Williams' left hand or not. If it didn't hit his left hand, who do you think it's off of?
I would say it's off Tice. If in that hypothetical,
I don't think you can tell well enough to overturn.
Yes.
Because all right, it looks like Lou might still be touching it with the right hand.
The spin doesn't really change.
And Smart might have got in there too. That's another aspect of this.
And for me, like I've talked about this before, but the idea should be more like soccer officiating, where it's like, who was the reason the ball went out of bounds, not whose fingertip happened to touch it last.
To me, that should be off Tice.
Off Tice.
If it doesn't hit his left hand.
Yeah.
But I think this one should not be overturned. I don't think I didn't see anything clear
I wish
enough.
there was another angle to see if it hit Lou's left hand, because I think it did. Like, my instinct is that it did, but it's hard. It was hard to tell from that one. Oh, that's funny. Someone said we should do an all-decade worst LeBron teammates.
Oh man.
So that 03-04 Cavs team was pretty amazing.
Sadly, not from this decade.
Oh, that's right. I'm old.
LeBron's old too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 4 months older than me.
Yeah, I think we'd have to do a cutoff of like has to have played at least like 1,000 minutes in the season or something.
Sure.
Norris Cole, maybe up there.
So let's see.
Or any of the centers on the 2011 team,
like Odin and Eddie Curry.
I think he was later. Like Juwan Howard and Eric Dampier.
Wasn't there a really bad backup point guard on that first Heat team? Because Arroyo started. Was it Bibby?
I think they got Let's see if we.
I also firmly believe that there should be a time limit on these.
Right. I mean,
like 30 seconds. If you can't figure it out in 30 seconds, then it stays
right. Like, because it's not clear. All right, here's another view.
Woo! Oh, I think it hit his finger.
It does hit his left hand. Yeah, and that's why they gave it to Boston. Get it into Walker. Hand off Tatum off the Tice screen. They try to screen away Walker. Good denial by Beverly to topside him. Late clock, 5 seconds. Tatum driving. Floats. Way off. Tice with the tip. Beverly recovers.
And thankfully he didn't.
Still a 2-point game. A lid on the rim for Boston. They have been unable to tie it in a couple of chances here now. Clippers looking to seize a commanding lead with a bucket here. Leonard goes at Walker. Miscommunication. That leaves the wide open 3 for Beverly on the pick and pop, but it wasn't there. Walker stayed with him. Tatum didn't know whether to go back to Beverly or not. Pick and roll, Smart gets George on his back. Floats, way short. Not a good shot. Yeah, Smart going at Paul George doesn't seem ideal. Wouldn't mind them going back to a little high pick and roll with Walker here and see how that goes. They've been taking him out of the corner most of the time instead. Walker, great job getting over the screen, but they get it to Harrell. That's going to leave another wide open 3. These guys are so tired, and that could do it here. Patrick Beverly, yet another corner 3, and the Clippers really solved this Boston pick and roll defense in the end.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful pocket pass by Lou Williams to get to Harrell, and Harrell finding Pat Bev in the corner, who was wide open without traveling. That was actually the real risk there from
and
Harrell.
As we watch the replay here, I mean, you can see
I think he might have
Tatum
traveled.
is just so tired at this point. And maybe that's probably Marcus Smart needs to X out down to the corner on that play, but he's just stuck with Leonard. And, I mean, that corner 3-point shooter is the most dangerous. So 5-point lead here. Timeout for the Celtics. What do we have left? 43.4. So a 2-for-1 is essential, and one of them has got to be a 3. They really need to get this shot off. They'll presumably will advance the ball. They need to get this shot off. And I think, to me, you go for the 3 first here because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to take a 3 as the last one because then they can foul to take it out of your hands. Yeah, you see this. All 3 of these corner 3s off a pick and roll where they had the defense way out on the floor. But, yeah, I mean, you like the fatigue level. I mean, Smart, as intense as he is, he's not really in a stance. Tatum was not really in a stance. All right, here we go. They're looking for Tatum in the corner. Now it's Walker switching everything to take away the 3. He steps back. Great defense by Harrell. Not great defense by George. Williams keeps it alive. They're going to call it Celtics ball, but we'll have
probably another review.
The poor replay monitors at Staples make crap out at this point.
I like Patrick Beverly.
Let's see here.
Yeah, that's off Beverly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he had his hand on the ball. They're not going to spend much time on this, it looks like. Beverly's still calling for a review. I think this one's pretty obvious.
He's setting the NBA record for he was going to set it for most spins without a review. And yes, I would love to see that tracked.
This shouldn't take long, though. Yeah, Beverly provides more impetus towards it going out and still has his hand on the ball at the end. Yeah, that's clear. His left pinky is on it still.
Okay, if you have questions. But, dunked on tonight. Oh, they're already done. Patreon.com/DuncanLaRue. Bookies.com. Lots of things.
All right, so now they have to get a 3 really quick here. Oh, no, they just get an easy dunk. They'll take that. Leonard and Beverly totally miscommunicated. I have no idea what Kawhi Leonard was doing. Clearly, they're in switch everything mode, and Doc is going to take a timeout to advance it. They scored in 1 second.
Well, and the Clippers did something there that I actively don't love, of not even trying something before calling the timeout.
Yeah, they do at least still have one more timeout left. But, yeah, with Boston still having a timeout, they're not necessarily...
well, and I think that was a good illustration.
Well, you know what, though? I think the reason they took the timeout is because it's not a situation where Boston is in must foul. So they actually wanted to set up a play here that can run as much time as possible.
That's true. That's fair.
So I think it's especially with the remaining timeout, and you know you're going to run the time down to 10 seconds left, so you're probably not going to need more than one additional timeout here. So I think it's fine the more I think about it.
And as a commenter noted, they mentioned that a quick 2 is fine if it's that quick. That's true, but also remember it's a close to a 100% shot as well. That it's not just like the part of the opposition to a quick 2 is that it's not as certain a 2 as usual. But when you have Jason Tatum standing right under the basket with the ball, and you can't really do much better than that. Adi Boda says, I wonder what the math says about fouling here. I mean, down 3 with 34 seconds to go, then you're putting yourself in real difficulty if you foul.
Yeah, I think you got to, and especially because you got a pretty good chance of getting a stop here because they're trying to run the time down. I might have actually thought about taking Lou Williams off the floor here to play defense. Oh, the steal by Smart. It's not allowed. Oh, they're going to say it's Boston ball.
Is Marcus Smart hurt? Hopefully not.
So, what happened here? He's saying pull him up. How is this Boston ball? I didn't see it.
Oh, he threw it off Kawhi's left heel.
What a play. That's
before he hit out of bounds.
And incredible. I mean, that's the beauty there, too, is you can pressure up like that knowing that they're trying to run the time down. Smart limping about a bit. They need a 3. They don't know what play they're running. Now it's Tice saying screen away for Walker. And Brad Stevens has to take a timeout. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. That's a killer.
And I mean, you run off all that time. Remember, you kind of want to get a shot quickly there because you have a chance of an offensive rebound or something else in case it doesn't work.
Yeah,
you're willing to sacrifice the chance of giving the Clippers more time for an improved chance of you getting your own shot.
And they also now don't really have the option of taking a 2. I mean, you don't want the 2 to be your primary option, but sometimes they take away the 3. Time's a wasting. You got to just get something. So now we'll see. I mean, you're guessing this play is going to be for Tatum.
Now, okay, Clippers still have a foul to give. How do you handle this in terms of fouls?
You know, I think here you probably foul as they start their action. And then you also want to foul so you give yourself the opportunity to foul again to make them shoot at the foul line. That was just such an incredible play. I'm glad they're showing the replay of this over and over again. I think he knocked like Mike Breen's keys off the
Yeah, and I mean, and when you're at the TV broadcasting, they have a lot of technical equipment there.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Get it into Tice. Contested by Harkless. Tatum going to try to shoot it over Kawhi. Fading. Oh, it's off. Walker with a chance.
Oh.
Here's Smart 3. No, they fouled him. They fouled Walker. What great foul by Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, he grabbed him a little bit and raised his hand and tried to make sure there's a foul. And
so now we're going to see probably Zubac come in. We'll probably see Cantor come in. Yeah, Beverly committing the foul. Smart move there. Although, you know, was it smarter? Oh, yeah. Oh, they had the foul to give. Even better. So now, I mean, this has got to be for Tatum, you would think. Now Walker gets open.
Oh.
And not even close. I don't know if Kawhi got a hand on it. No, I think he just
short
airballed it. He didn't have his feet under him.
What a game.
Yeah, really some twists and turns in this one. Thanks again to Bookies.com for sponsoring our efforts. They're going to be a sponsor all season long. Follow them at Bookies is their Twitter handle. Go to Bookies.com. You can see them. Yeah, I think he did get a piece of it in the end. You can see them take our content and tell you how it is relevant for gambling purposes. Get live odds, click-throughs to your favorite betting sites as well. And we'll be back 2 weeks from now. We'll be taking next week off for Thanksgiving. And we will talk to y'all then. Who are we actually doing in 2 weeks?
I'm assuming it's the Clippers again because we have a bunch of Clippers games on. Yep.
Portland at Clippers. What's the other game that's Tuesday 12/3?
Dallas, New Orleans.
Are we? Oh yeah, and then what's the other game that week? Maybe we could change it.
We'll assess. That's why people should check out. We tweeted out, and they should check out the. We also have a Google sheet that is all the planned games that we can do, so you can check that out too.
Yeah, it's you can bookmark that. But yeah, maybe we'll change it. Maybe we'll do that NBA TV game. Lakers at Utah. That'd be pretty.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
All right,
we'll check it out.
But we'll let y'all know in a couple of weeks. Thanks again for joining us.